What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It is Kush back at it again with another Just Chillin' podcast call-in edition. Every Tuesday night, we're going to do this. It is going to be a lot of fun as the offseason rolls on to have you guys coming in and calling in. If you are a member in the chat, like Joel Yaddo, I see him there. Mike Nixon's in there. I actually have Joel backstage already. In the community notes for members only, I did post the link to call in early. So you guys, for like basically the first 30 to 40 minutes of this show, it's probably going to be only members, depending on how many of you guys call in. But you guys have, I guess, early access. You guys get the link first. And then a little bit later on, I will post the link in the chat for everybody else to tune in. I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in here. Jayden Dawkins, as usual, one of the first people in here. Chance Foster, already shout out Joe. Jay Berman, all good, my man. He's probably not even in here anymore, but all good, man. Stay safe. Go Big Blue, bro. We got OGR's troll account, OnlyFans OGR, Joseph Balby, Mike Nixon. What up, Mike? Nerding Out Sports. And Bobby Woodruff. Shout out to Bobby. He just became a new member. Thank you, Bobby. Welcome to the team, man. He is a team player. Bobby, since you're in here, go into the community tab right now. I have posted the link for members to call in already, Bobby. So go ahead. Call in. I know Bobby loves to call in. Go ahead and do that, my man. Nate Talk Giants in here. Let's see. Crimson, Great Wuda, Logan's Gaming Lounge. How y'all doing, guys? We might have a packed show tonight in terms of topics. You know, the biggest news of the night, Patrick Graham being extended, Devontae Smith winning the Heisman, and of course, a lot of other stuff just taking place from coming off of NFL Week 17. I'm going to bring on first real quick Joel, who's been in. He was in the studio for actually maybe 10 minutes before I went live. Joel Yaddo, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing tonight?
Doing okay. Doing just fine, man.
Yes. Now that we have our coaches. Yes.
Yep. How you feel about that? I mean, did we even get any contract information? All I saw was that we extended him, and he's going to be with us for a couple years more.
Man, I don't need any information right now. I'm just looking at we have our defensive coordinator back that got the most out of K. Crowder, Mr. Irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Brought James Bradbury and brought Martinez along and got Leo Williams 11.5 sacks, and Dexter Lawrence and the guys up front did their jobs stopping the run. His schemes were easy enough. He's going to have this defense back next year. Things are going to get more complex.
Depending on how many people we can get back, yeah?
Well, think about it. Leo probably not coming back. What's his name? Nose tackle.
Dalvin.
Yeah, Dalvin Tomlinson, 50-50. But who else is? Everybody else is coming back, right?
I think everybody else will be coming back, yeah.
So McKinney's got some time under his belt, played really well. Cornerback too. Okay, Julian Love might be cornerback. Mm-hmm. Played really well. I haven't heard anybody talking about him. He had a phenomenal game. At least I did.
Phenomenal last 2 weeks, actually, because I think he was at corner number 2 during the Ravens game as well.
Yeah. I mean, because the Red Rifle, he was the leading rusher for the whole team. Mm-hmm. 49 yards? So our defense, which was impressive this year, is going to be more impressive next year. But the problem is our offense. We're losing. I mean, Kate's going to be gone. Everybody wants to cut Zeitler.
I don't think everybody wants to cut. I think it's more of they want to get Zeitler's money off the books.
Well, yeah, but Zeitler's the only guard that played every game. I mean, who are you going to replace Zeitler with?
Which is why I'm glad you bring that up, because he's still one of our best offensive linemen, and I'm still not completely on board with the idea, but I see where people are coming from with the whole, it would create so much cap. And thank you for the info, Nate. So shout out to Authentic. I apparently will have a raid coming in here soon from Authentic and Beard. Definitely go over there and check those guys out.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're getting rid of Zeitler. Fleming, I'm sorry, somebody's going to want Fleming. He produced well enough that where he's going to probably get a 2-3 year contract somewhere else. There are teams that need a right tackle. If not, there are teams that can afford to pay him $3-4 million a year to be a backup, because he can be a swing tackle. People are going to pay for that. That's a premium. Running back, I don't think Gallman's coming back. Do I want him to? I'm 50-50 on Gallman. He had a really productive year for us this year.
I mean, if Gallman still has them, has in mind that, hey, I'm still a backup running back, and that means I'm gonna take a backup running back contract, then come back. If he's gonna ask for a little bit more, then you can walk Gallman.
Right, because we gave the money to Logan Ryan. We don't really have that much cap, but I did see a while ago the TV was going to sign a new deal with the NFL for 10 years and some ungodly amount of money. So the cap might not be going down to 175. So we might get another 10, $15 million extra on top of what we have, but that's still not enough money to get back Leo and Dalvin and get a quality tackle for a backup. We don't know who our guard's going to be. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on Hernandez and Lemieux as our guards right now. That's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like
somebody, I just highlighted the comment. Somebody said Will Hernandez sucks. Who was? I think it was Great Woodruff probably.
Well, he's better at pass blocking than Lemieux is. But who's going to be over there on the right side with Pert? Because we never saw Pert and Hernandez really on the right hand side. So that's a worry. Our draft picks right now, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and 2 6.
Mm-hmm.
So we either need to get cap space, sign somebody in free agency, or we're going to use one of those picks in the draft. Limited. The offense is going to be limited. And everybody right now wants to see a star wide receiver. And we might have a new offensive coordinator.
Quickly, because last night the news was broken to us that the Chargers put in a request to interview Garrett for their head coaching spot. How you feel about that?
I've been on the get rid of Garrett train since week 8.
Mm-hmm.
I've come on to your show. I've brought it into messages. Garrett needs to be gone. He's not the right fit. Yeah, he could be the right fit for Herbert, but he's not the right fit for Daniel Jones and the vision that Judge has for his offense. Judge, he wants to run it more, and you saw that when Kitchens took over. Even though we had a backup quarterback in there, when Kitchens was calling plays, he never gave up on the run. It was constantly pound, 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 pound. Garrett, what did Gallman have? 7 carries by the third quarter?
Yeah, he was like below 10, and we were in the second half.
Yeah.
I will say, though, to be fair, overall, the rushing attempts, I think, were around like 15, 16-ish.
Yeah, but didn't Daniel have like 4 rushing attempts? So you got it. I think they
was that overall or by half?
It's by the third quarter, I think it was, because I don't remember him running very much after that. So, it's like, okay, so then everybody wants this star, all-pro wide receiver. And I got a little bit of notes here.
Mm-hmm.
And from 1999 till 2018, I think it was, as far as I could go back. I want you to guess how many teams won a Super Bowl from 1999 to 2018 with an all-pro wide receiver.
You said all-pro?
Yes.
How many teams won the Super Bowl?
With an all-pro wide receiver.
I can't give you an exact number. I'm going to say maybe less than 5, though.
2.
2, okay.
So everybody wants that stud number 1 star wide receiver. That, yeah, everyone likes to point at numbers. And that was, the last one was Marvin Harrison in 2006. Before that was Isaac Bruce with the Rams.
Out of curiosity, what's the number if you change all-pro to Pro Bowl?
That I didn't do pro. I did all-pro. And it was hard enough.
Because I will say, I mean, there's only like, what, 2, 3 all-pro wide receivers selected a year? So that is a very small pool already. But I get what you're saying for sure.
But I wanted to go top tier, elite of the elite, because everyone's calling Jamar Chase that. Everyone's calling the kids from Alabama, Waddle
and Smith.
they're saying that these guys are all pro type. They're that above Odell Beckham type receiver. But if you look at it, uh, you know, look at all the good wide receivers, and you don't really see them get to the Super Bowl. I mean, Kansas City blew that up last year, but that's Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say we're picking at 11 and it's like to trade down, and it's only because we have so many more needs. And if you looked at past history in the second and third rounds, there's been really good quality wide receivers that are perennial all pros. Um, Chase Claypool, DK Metcalf. I'm sure we could name a few others and Burton show up with, but
Mm-hmm.
that's don't. I heard the last night Diggy there. He was saying, "What's that one defensive lineman, Dewitty Payne?
Yeah, Quiddy Pay or something.
Quiddy Payne? Yeah, something like that." And I
Yeah,
looked at
I
him a
don't know. I
little
don't know how to
bit.
pronounce his name, but yeah, Pay out of Michigan.
Yeah, I looked at him a little bit. Now Michigan people aren't very high on him, but if we're losing Leo and we need to replace him, that's a prime position. That's more
I
prime.
would still take a cornerback over one of the
Would you?
edges in today. Yeah,
Oh man, I just look at how much we need an edge rusher though. I mean, because
we
if we
do.
could get, I mean, what we're not going to have a lot of money. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to and hope that like Bud Dupree is healthy enough to play 16 games on a 1 year prove it deal and sign with us.
I also
We're
do
going to
want
have
to say, like, big disclaimer, and this is gonna go basically until maybe like March, because free agency doesn't even begin until March, I think, right? Like that's when free
March
agent.
1st, right?
Yeah. So like up until March, everything is still kind of a crapshoot, like throwing a shot in the dark in terms of like, because for all we know, everything we're saying right now, like we maybe signed the wide receiver or we signed the corner. Like that's the one other thing people haven't considered. There's cornerbacks out there in the free agency market that's going to be a good number 2 cornerback. That's what we need, a number 2 cornerback. You know what I'm
And,
saying? Maybe we sign one of these positions. But yeah, carry
and
on. I just want to get that out there for the chat.
well, going on the cornerback thing, who's Logan Ryan going to try to recruit?
I'm hoping it's going to be anybody that can help the team.
Right. But it's also nice knowing that what Julian Love did,
Mm-hmm.
that we're not 100% in need of that number 2 quarterback right now. And that's something that we can look at into the draft. And that's something that's why, Gettleman went just so deep into that cornerback position. And then thank God he went so deep into the linebackers last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Gettleman's coming back. Like I said, the first time I ever called in, Gettleman's your GM yesterday. He's your GM today and tomorrow. He understands the game. He knows that guys get injured. He knows that you got to have depth. And having a teaching coach.
So I gotta ask
It,
you, Joel, because I see Edward saying, "Please not this person," and you were saying you don't necessarily need the top of the top. Corey Davis, who is somebody Logan Ryan could definitely try and recruit from his teammate. What do you think about the Giants maybe signing him in free agency, and he could be a wide receiver that we use?
that
Or do you think he's still not like you think he's still not at the level where he could actually help us?
it is so hard right now not knowing if Garrett is going to be our offensive coordinator or not, because if the guy doesn't fit the scheme, is he going to work out even though he had a great college career?
Mm-hmm.
Or how many guys do we see get drafted by a team, released, and then turned into a above average player
Mm-hmm.
because the scheme doesn't fit? And Marcus Golden is a prime example of that. When he was in Betcher's system, he balled out. When
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't in Betcher's system, he has a hard time. Leo Williams, when he was with the Jets, had a hard time with that. He comes into Graham's system, 11 and a half sacks. That's the thing. Even you might love the guy, he might be the best player available, but look at what Judge did for the locker room. He's not going to bring in somebody who's got any red flags. If they're not 100% sold on football when they walk through that door, and that's what Judge said, I don't want him.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it's going to depend on the scheme and his personality. He wants high IQ, smart football players. That's why some people are saying that I want Rousseau. And I don't think maybe in the third round he might grab Rousseau, but
That's if he drops all the way to the third, but he is dropping right now.
He is dropping, but I don't expect Rousseau if he's available in the first or the second round. I don't think Judge is going to put up with that.
I don't think any coach right now, to be honest with
you. Yeah, man, we can't say that because I mean, you look at some past history of some of the players that have been drafted with red flags.
Real quick, shout out to Jackson Twins for the $5 super chat. No message with the $5 super chat, but thank you, Jackson Twins.
So it's going to be a lot of who's leaving, who's staying, who's getting re-signed, and who fits the Giants' way. Because that's the best way I can say it right now, is it's no longer the Patriots' way. With Joe Judge, it's the Giants' way. And he come out when he did that interview and he let the entire team know, and he let the entire fan base know that, look, this is the Giants now. This is a hard-nosed, ground-and-pound football team, and we are not going to give up, even if it's week 16 and we are 0-15.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen. So that and I'm running out of stuff to say. I didn't think I would.
No, it's okay because that's actually kind of coincidental because I was just about to say give you final thoughts because I'm gonna get Mike Nixon on the next member. But thank you for calling in, Joel. You kind of ended off on a beautiful note there with the Judge and what Judge was basically preaching all year.
Yes, well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate coming on and talking football with you, and when you have the other guys on. So, like I said, I don't have to worry about putting out all those content. I let you guys do that, and I just jump in on occasion.
No problem, Joel. Have a good one, bro.
All right, see ya.
Next up is Mike Nixon. Mike, how you doing, man?
What's up, Bob?
Who you rocking?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones color rush jersey. All right, Mike. Yep. How you feel that we extended Patrick Graham, man?
Phew. That's all I gotta say. Phew.
Okay.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I just had a feeling if Graham got another job, the defense would struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that we brought him back because it's another year he gets to work with the defense and everything. You know?
Exactly, because Joel mentioned it. We mention it all the time. The production on the defense, a lot of it came from late round picks, guys that were not supposed to see the field as early as they did, but Graham made it work. So how you feel about that, and how you feel about Garrett getting interviewed by the Chargers or set to get interviewed by the Chargers?
I like it. And you know what? If he gets a job there, he's set up in a pretty good position. He's set up for a pretty good position. You got Justin Herbert, you got Austin Eckler, you got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, you got Derwin James coming back next year, Joey Bosa. They just have a lot of pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that he could succeed if he gets a job there.
I'm not even looking at that. I guess I am just the most pessimistic fan when it comes to Garrett. I'm looking at, he's gonna be gone.
No, trust me. Bye-bye, Garrett. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, our offense was 31st.
Only the Jets were worse than us.
Oh my goodness. I'm just glad we got Patrick Graham back, and hopefully, I mean, as far as bringing in, if Jason Garrett leaves, uh, I mean, for Freddie Kitchens, because I mean, even though we put up 6 points, we took a lot of shots against Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think that with Kitchens there, I mean, he may not change the scheme, but we'll call better plays, you know? So Daniel Jones won't technically be learning a new system, because I have a feeling that he might keep it. It's just we'll call better plays
Mm-hmm.
for Daniel Jones to succeed.
And then what are you thinking about just looking a little bit at the college stuff? The other big news tonight was Devontae winning the Heisman.
Man, I mean he definitely deserved it, and it scares me because you got Miami at 3 who needs a receiver, and then the crummy Eagles need a receiver. The Lions probably will need the receiver. I mean I really want Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I really want him, because I have a feeling he's gonna ball out with us if we
Mm-hmm.
were to get him. Oh
Are
man,
you concerned about his weight? Because he's only 175. He's built like a twig.
a little bit, but I think he'll bulk up in the gyms and whatnot. I think he'll bulk up
Mm-hmm.
some. Oh man,
All right,
I
then, Mike.
just can't
Other
wait.
than the two questions I have for you, what did you want to talk about coming on tonight?
Hmm. Hey, how about our Knicks, man? How about our Knicks?
New York Knicks, bro. Listen, bro. Emmanuel quickly.
4-3.
Listen,
4-3.
this man Emmanuel quickly. I'm sorry, bro. I tweeted out last night. I got so hyped because after the Knicks one, I was like, the New York Knicks will win the NBA championship. Now, obviously, that was a little bit of cap. But when's the last
Yeah,
time the Knicks had such a good start, yo? For real.
a while. A while.
And
It's
and,
been a while.
and Tibbs, bro. Tibbs, the finishing lineup he put out there, was kind of weird, but it was a weird that worked out. Like, yo, because when quickly
Yeah.
he's gonna work his way into the starting lineup eventually. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
When he does that, I can't wait to see what this team does.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. The Knicks have a bright future ahead of them.
Man, I mean,
And
other than quickly, or maybe you do want to talk a little bit about quickly. Who else did you like? Like Julius Randle, man, he was like one short of a triple double.
yeah, he's really, really impressed. And I mean, it seemed like RJ, he played back-to-back good games. So we're starting to see a little consistency from him,
Mm-hmm.
which I like.
Reggie Bullock 7-3-3, RJ 26-5-11, Alfred Payton
Yeah.
14-5-3. What about Austin Rivers? What are you thinking about Austin Rivers?
I mean, I like that signing. I think he's a good player. He plays good defense. Now, of course, he won't be a star, but he's a good role player
Mm-hmm.
for us.
Who do you think should be our starting point guard? Do you think we should stick with Peyton, or we rolling with somebody else at point guard later on in the season?
I mean, if he continues to play well, I would say quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I would say quickly.
I mean, he's off to a pretty nice start, so you got that. But yeah, Mike, I'm gonna switch you out for Bobby Woodruff now, who's tonight's newest member. Any last thoughts, Mike, before I get you out here?
Just everybody sub up my broski the hub.
Thank you, bro. Go Nixon, go Giants. Have a good one.
Yep.
Ooh, I added Bron to go by accident. Bobby, how you doing, man? What's up, Bobby?
Hey, how you doing? You guys,
I'm good.
you had two good guys on so far. They're very smart in what they say.
Thank you, Bobby. I see you wearing your Yankees hat tonight.
Yep, I'm a Yankee fan still.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody will ever not be a Yankee fan.
Well, I'm surprised about the Knicks. You sure they're not smoking that Kush? I'm only kidding.
I know if you want to talk about it, we could talk about the Knicks a little bit. How are you feeling about them so far?
I was surprised. They're 4-3 now, right?
Yeah,
they're on a roll.
I mean, I asked it the same thing to Mike, but like, when's the last time they started out with a winning record?
I don't remember. I can't remember. When is Tippin coming back? The rookie. When does he come back?
I don't know. I mean, actually,
he's been out. I got rid of him on my fantasy basketball team.
I'll try and pull it up right now, but I'm not sure when he's gonna be back. Can you imagine? We're doing well without him, and he was like our actually first pick.
Well, that's the other guy you were talking to Mike Nixon about. Who was the other guy you talk about?
Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah, who's that? Where is he a rookie?
Yeah, he's the rookie we took with 25th overall pick, I want to say.
What college did he go to?
He went to Kentucky. He's the point guard, and he's doing really well.
Kentucky is very good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Edward just updated us. Apparently, Toppin is going to be out for a week. He's kind of struggling in recovery.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, when what did he hurt? His ankle or something?
I'll pull it up.
I need a shave. Hey, I think I'm happy with the Giants. We signed the defensive guy. Yes, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Spags. Remember Spags?
Somebody on Twitter compared him to that. It's like this is our best coordinator since Spags.
Yeah, Spags was great. I mean, tell you. And I want them to change that helmet. I hate their helmets. I want the Giants running right across their helmets.
You don't want the NY. You want the Giants.
No, I hate that helmet. They should burn it. Burn it. Put the Giants. What?
What did the helmet do to you?
It makes me sick. 86, they won the Super Bowl with the Giants running across the helmets.
And 07 and 12 and 11, they won it with the NY on the side.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I like the Giants.
You want the team name on there, not the location.
Yeah, just the Giants. You know how 86 was? Mm-hmm. That helmet is the best.
And what about the uniforms? People want a uniform change. What do you think?
Yeah, Dentic wants the blue. I agree with him. The blue.
Well, I mean, we're already wearing blue, but what do you mean? You want like blue top and blue bottom?
Yeah, he wants that. Yeah, he wants he's in the chat, right? He talked about it on his channel a little while ago, but the blue and
what about for the aways? Full white?
Yeah, probably full white, yeah.
Okay.
I love the blue. And then do you think Gallman's leaving?
Wayne Gallman?
Yeah.
I don't know. It all depends how much he wants, right? Because if he wants more than he deserves, because maybe he's in the mindset. I'm not saying that he is, but maybe he wants a little bit more because he's done well this year, right? Yeah. I think he's still gonna have the mindset like, I'm still a backup running back. I'm gonna take a backup running back contract.
I hope so.
I just have a feeling for some reason he might not be back with us next year.
Because he wants money. Money talks. I want Corey Davis as our receiver.
Oh, really now? And so you're hoping that Logan Ryan is out here recruiting him?
Yes, that would be awesome.
And Logan did say he's going to recruit somebody. What do you like about Corey?
I think he's a great wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
what do you say to people that says he can't succeed if he's the number one?
Well, I think he'd still be good as number 2, you know. But we need a number 1 too.
Yeah.
Because we have Slayton. We gotta get rid of Ingram. We gotta get rid of that ass.
Let's talk about that. Pro Bowler.
Yeah, bullshit. He's not no Pro Bowler. He's the taller bowler. That's what I call him, the taller bowler, not the Pro Bowler.
Bobby, when you were watching that game on Sunday, how did you feel when the ball went right through the hands of
Oh
Ingram,
my God! It was
helmet, it was intercepted.
It was right in his damn hands. What is he getting paid for? And you know, Daniel Jones threw very good that day, and he fucked him up. Oh,
it's okay. It's the only one. Make sure you don't say it again.
No, I'm sorry. Oops.
It's okay. But Daniel Jones, every time Daniel Jones, it seems like every time DJ throws a nice ball to him, Ingram's just like,
yes,
catch it.
We got to get a new tight end. Who should we pick up? I think.
That's the question now, isn't it? Once we got rid of Ingram, who are we going to look at? To be honest with you, because I think the Giants are going to stick with him just because he's still.
Well, that Troller Polo's not that bad. What's that guy's name? Troller Polo. We have a tight end, don't we? Troller Polo. I don't know his real name.
The guy behind him is Jayden Smith. We got Toyota behind him.
Yeah, those two are great. Get rid of Ingram, and then we could get the cap space more money.
Maybe we do if we get rid of him. Maybe we do stick with just whoever's behind him.
Yeah,
but I would have to really go and look because I haven't thought about it. Maybe I'll have to go look at maybe a couple free agent tight ends.
Well, Notre Dame always have good. Notre Dame always has great tight ends. Mm-hmm. Look what Cal Clement did with the Bears, right, this year.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did good on the? Yeah, he was on the Bears this year. He's in the playoffs. So yeah,
I have the tight end free agency list pulled up here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of old guys, so I'm just gonna not read the old guys. You know, like Gronk, he's old. Jared Cook,
yeah, he's about retired. I think he could hang him up this year.
Olsen, he's old.
Yeah.
Ben McDonald is getting up there. Then you got Hunter Henry, who
he's pretty good.
He's
not bad.
Good. He's always injured. Like he kind of
into charges. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got there's Tyler Effort, who's currently with Jackson.
He's always hurt.
Yeah, Tyler Croft, who's with Buffalo.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him.
Jacob Hollister, who's with Seattle right now.
Oh, I like him. I always like him. Yeah, he's good.
And other than that, it's guys that are probably like backup tight ends, if I'm being honest.
Well, you could get them from the college. You could get college. That's fine.
Bobby Murphy is an Eagles fan. I'm pulling this up because I want you to answer this. He says, "Are you still salty for what the Eagles did?"
No, I'm not still salty.
Because we all moved on, right?
Yeah, it's the Giants' fault. If we won one more game, we didn't have to rely on the smelly Eagles to help us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, shout out to Authentic in the chat. Guys, go over to check out Authentic Beer. I'm pretty sure most of you already have.
Hey, do you see the Washington game against the Eagles when they showed the Redskin guy with the beard?
Redskin guy with the beard?
Yeah, he was on the sideline. He looks exactly like the beard. He has a long reddish beard. I told the beard the other day when I was on it.
I wonder who it is that was on.
I can't remember his name. Maybe Authentic knows. They saw the game. Mm-hmm. He has a long beard. Oh, it was so funny.
Bobby, since you just became a member, by the way, you have early access right now to my latest Giants skit. So,
I like your skits. I see them. They're funny.
Yeah, so you're
a good comedian.
Right. Thank you.
I think you should go on tour.
Go on tour. All right, I'm not that good.
Yes, you are. You're much funnier than I am. I'm funny looking. That's about it.
Hey, that counts for something in the comedian business now.
Yeah.
But Bobby.
Yeah, somebody's online.
No, I was gonna ask you. Who are you looking at in the draft?
We do need a wide receiver, like you said. Then we need a rush edge. Who's good at edge rushes? You thinking?
In my opinion, I don't like any edge rushers for the first round.
Yeah.
There's Kwity Paye out of Michigan, who Joliata brought up. Who, for example, if Leonard Williams walked Kwity Paye, would be a nice replacement for him.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if the 11th overall pick I want to spend on him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Rousseau who has been dropping, ever since
What team is he on?
He's on Miami.
Oh, they usually have good defensive players on those teams, right?
Usually, I can't remember the last time a really good one came out of Miami.
Well, didn't Warren Sapp come out of Miami, Washington?
Well, I thought you were talking about recently.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Okay.
Yeah, And then
Well,
other than
Joel
that,
knows a lot about football. Joel is a very smart guy. He
Mhm.
knows his football. Where's he from originally? Do you know?
he probably told me a couple times, but I forgot. Unfortunately, I got a lot of things.
He's probably from Michigan with that beard. No, I'm not kidding. He could be from New York. I don't know. I'm originally from New York.
Mm.
And you're from Queens like I am.
Yes, I am still in here.
What junior high school do you go to?
I went to Brooklyn Technical High School
Why you went to Brooklyn, not Queens? I don't understand that.
because it was a really good high school. That's why.
Junior high school, which one?
Oh,
do you go?
junior
Yeah.
school. 72.
I went to
the 72. Yeah.
172.
No, just 72.
I went to junior high school 172 on Hillside Avenue.
Oh, Hillside. I'm not that far from 172.
Really?
Yeah.
I went to Martin Riviera. You know where that is?
No.
Jamaica Avenue.
Oh, okay.
I hated that school. I hated that school.
Hey, man, it is what it is.
You want to see a surprise guest on your channel
Is
too?
it Seahawk?
Yes, Seahawk. Isn't she cute?
She's very beautiful. How's Seahawk doing?
She's good. She's 15 years old. She's a year older than my daughter, but you know how cats go. She's like 105 now. Yeah, she's a good cat. She keeps me company.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Bobby,
yeah.
I'm gonna switch you out, but I'll bring you back on before the stream ends if you want.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna
You have
switch
somebody
out.
else to talk to. Who's next?
Next up is Jayden Dawkins.
Oh, I like him. He's a good kid.
So Bobby, thank you for
Yeah.
tuning in. You'll be back later, my man.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk to you in a while.
Next up, Jayden Dawkins. Jayden, how you doing? Oh, what's up, bro?
But if I'm here, the champ is here now. Come on now.
The champ is here.
And shout out
There
to
you go.
Bobby.
So what's up, Jayden? What you trying to talk about tonight?
Talking about at the draft.
Who you looking at?
I'm looking at Devontae Smith or Jamal Chase or Jalen Waddle.
Oh, so you just looking at the wide receivers?
Nah, not that. I'm looking at Michael Parsons. Like, we do need a linebacker really bad. I'm happy that Patrick Graham is staying with us. With Jason Garrett, he needs to go to the Chargers. Please do.
Yo, send a message to Chargers right now. Tell them how good Jason Garrett is.
Oh, don't worry. He knows how to run the ball efficiently. He's good with curl routes. He's good with on 32. We throw deep and don't convert. He's really good at that. He's really predictable on offense. Oh, he makes quarterbacks do terrible decisions also. He makes our wide receivers drop passes. Especially
Well, I don't know about those last two, but you had me until those last two.
Well, are you sure?
I mean, you can't exactly make a receiver drop a pass now, can you, as a coach?
It's possible.
I don't know about that.
If you a tight end coach, which is Freddie Kitchens, right? You could make Evan Ingram drop passes.
So now you blaming now you blaming what's his name? Freddie Kitchens for Evan Ingram? Okay.
It's all Evan Ingram. He's been trashed this entire year.
So how you feeling that since Devontae, one of the guys you're looking at, won the Heisman?
Well deserved, because I sent it to you on IG. Oh, for the chat, if you don't know that, me and Hub text all the time on IG. I usually update him with everything.
He does indeed.
Because once you're the champ, you gotta update people over here.
Okay. I see you buffing yourself up. But what else you want to talk about, or what other draft topic you want to broach right now?
Not the draft. Let's talk about the Philly game. I didn't like what Philly did, but it's our fault. If Evan Ingram knew how to catch a pass, we're in the playoffs. It's that simple. In that 10-man game, if Daniel Jones don't throw 2 interceptions, we're a 9-17. Because Washington is going to get smacked by Tampa Bay anyway. With Doug Peterson, I'm surprised he's not fired by now.
Now, here's the thing. I'm glad he isn't fired because I want him to stick with the Eagles. Let him continue to make that team terrible. That's my take on it.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I want them to keep Doug Peterson too. Just please keep him. Because in that cap space, they got negative $70 million. Yup. Ooh, this is going to be sweet for us. Because going into 2021, I hope we play the Eagles at week 1.
People are saying not even week 1, just make it a primetime game.
I mean, do it on a Monday Night Football. That will start off the week.
Listen, I completely agree with what you said. If the Giants took care of their business, they would have been in the playoffs regardless. That doesn't take away from the fact that I don't like what Philly did. I mean, but that's just me. I've had Philly fans come at me all in my comments for that reaction video. It probably has like over 60 dislikes right now. The Giants fans, or at least Philly fans, have been trying to clown Giants fans on Twitter. I shared my screen last night over that from that one Philly fan, the tweet saying that Joe Judge is a crybaby because of what Judge said. I'm like, yo, y'all really don't look at the full story, man. Should I expect better from Philly fans, or should I just expect this?
Yeah, we should expect it. Look, I got a great question though. What are you doing with Leonard Williams or Dalvin Thompson? Which one you keeping?
You talking about if I had the money to keep either one?
Yep.
Well, if I had the money to keep either one, then I'm gonna keep Leonard Williams.
And
That's who I want to keep.
It's a tough one. Leonard Williams got 11.5 sacks though, but Donald Thompson plays a big part of the defensive tackle. He fills the role. In my opinion, I'm keeping Dalvin. It's just me though.
Mm-hmm. So who are you gonna fill in that spot from Leonard Williams?
Hopefully, if we could go in the draft, hopefully find one. I don't want to do it in the free agency, you know. There's other spots we got to fill up, like the linebacker. Oh my God, especially at the number 2 corner spot. It's been getting trashed all year. I'm surprised nobody's looking at the corner at the first round besides me.
I mean, no. That's a cap. I've mentioned a couple times corner. We could go corner. I'm pretty sure a lot of Giants fans have thought about corner in the first round. Honestly, after wide receiver, that's probably the most popular one that they go for, corner.
Because we do need an edge. We need a linebacker. We need a tight end who could just catch the ball, really. Mm-hmm. Like, how could the Giants don't start on Kata Smith?
Yo, first of all, prayers out to Dr. Dre. Hopefully, because I see that CMB posted RIP. Thank you for clearing that up, Authentic, that he's just in the ICU. Shout out to David AV in here. We got National Football Channel. He says, okay, I respect Giants fans. All right, I respect you, my guy. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Jaylen, what's the last thing you want to talk about before I switch you out?
Not much, because right now I'm watching the Lakers and the Grizzlies game. I got the game on mute.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want y'all getting hit with copyright, because you know how YouTube is nowadays.
Yeah, YouTube is very strict with it now.
Anyway, everyone sub up to the Hubs channel. The Dallas fan, Kid Green, Bad Dog, Tannen, Fizz Vegas, Cop Pistol.
Authentic.
Yeah, you got PCA Sports, Authentic. You got Andy Dalton Jr. channel. You got Logan Ryan Jr. channel. Check all of them out. Oh, yeah. With OGL Sports, his name is The Big Show now.
The Big Show? We got a new nickname for him. All right, Jayden, have a good one, my man.
Everybody, you're...
Next up, Logan from Logan's Gaming Lounge. How you doing, Logan?
Good. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. First of all, I'm loving the shirt. Can you show us a little bit more of that shirt, man?
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, Saquon Barkley. And he got the Giants hat on. What's up, man?
Good. Just wanted to talk about some draft stuff. Do you think Jaylen Waddle would be a good option?
Real quick before I get into that, shout out to Mike Nixon for $5 super chat. He says, breaking news, the Texans hired Nick Caserio as their next GM. He's the guy that a lot of Giants fans wanted. Came from the Patriots front office. All I could say is that I hope he helps turn the Texans around because Deshaun Watson deserves better. But yeah, in terms of Jaylen Waddle, listen, I'm going to say this right now. Let me clear the air. Jaylen Waddle is one of the best receivers coming out of this draft. He's in that top 3. He is good, right? He is really good. I don't know if he necessarily fits what the Giants need because I look at him a little bit more as a slot. But
that's what I got.
But the thing is, like, if we select him, would I be mad? No, because he's like one of the best wide receivers in the class. I just don't necessarily want him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in my opinion, people look at him as a small assault receiver, more like Tyreek Hill, but even less of a number 1. I was watching some film today. This dude can jump, and he acts like DK. He's not DK, but he plays like DK. That's how physical this man plays, and he's only 5'8", 180.
That's a small receiver. Now, then again, Devontae is small in terms of
He's
weight.
175,
Yeah, he's super small in terms of weight. But
smaller
so
than
then,
my rat.
so then, would you want Waddle? Is what you're saying?
Either Waddle or Rashad Bateman.
At the 11th, Rashad Bateman.
Actually, if we're at 11 and Micah Parsons or Patrick Surtain are still there, I'd go them and then Rashad Bateman in the second round.
You think he's gonna last to the second? Because I think we pick 40 something.
And if not, then do you think Randall Moore would last the second round, or would you draft Tamori and Terry?
Well, all depends. Like I said to Joel, I'm gonna repeat it for the chat. Everything right now is a complete crapshoot, right? We could evaluate players. That's really the only thing we could do right now. Evaluate players, how good they are. In terms of predicting where they're going until around March, nobody's gonna really know or have an idea what that's gonna be. So that even goes for the mock drafts I'm gonna put out, but that's just how it is. I have no idea who's gonna last into second or last into third as of now. I even brought it up to Nate last night. Tamori and Terry right now is that sleeper pick. There's a lot of sleeper picks in January. By the time February and April comes around, they're not so sleeper anymore because the
I
teams.
think Randall Moore is a sleeper pick.
Randall Moore, I have not looked into him. Tell me about him.
He's very small. I will admit he's more of a stereotypical slot receiver, but he reminds me more of Deshaun Jackson or Victor Cruz or one of those guys, or Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He's got great hands. He's extremely fast. He's great. They even use him in the backfield sometimes at Purdue, I think. So he's very versatile.
What I'm getting is that you're looking at a couple of slot receivers here, but with Moore and Waddle. Why are you looking at
Moore,
slot specifically?
I don't feel like there's any talented number one outside receivers that would be there at 11. Devontae Smith is going to get drafted top 7 probably.
And then going along with what you said, say we take a linebacker or a corner at 11, there wouldn't be any good outside at I want to say 42 is where we pick, or maybe 44.
I think there would be good outside receivers in the second round. I just don't think any of them would be worth the 11th overall pick. I don't think Rashad Bateman, like you said, I don't think he's worth the 11th pick. I don't think Randall Moore is worth the 11th pick. Or
No, that's what I'm
Terry.
saying in the second round.
Yeah, I think they're second round talent. I would draft them in the second round.
Okay, then.
So, in my opinion, if I did it the way I wanted to, I would go linebacker or corner and then receiver in the second.
Linebacker or corner, receiver in the second. If you had to choose, let's say something crazy happens and both Surtain and Parsons are available at 11. Who would you go?
Oh, God.
Now it just comes down to which position you value more.
I love Micah Parsons. I was doing a film study yesterday. I got so many notes here.
Oh, look at the young goat, bro. The young gun.
I have to go Micah Parsons.
Why? What does Parsons bring to the table more than certain?
A run stuffing ability. He's pretty good in pass coverage. He can improve. He plays the B gap a lot more than any other gap. Sometimes he can get stuck or misdirected easily. But there was this one play against Memphis, I think it was. It was a fake handoff into the reverse. He read it pre-snap. He knew it was a reverse, so he could just go right through the gap and hit the receiver. So he's a great play reading ability. He's great at stuffing the run. He's pretty good at pass coverage. So
Logan out here is doing his homework, man. Look at this dude, bro. He's smarter than 90% of the Eagles.
I was watching a video with a guy narrating, but I was taking my own notes as well. So it's not all me.
Okay. You know what? That's a step, though. That's a step in that direction. Who are you watching, if I'm going to ask?
Voch Lombardi.
Oh, Voch Lombardi is great at breaking down film, so I'm not surprised by that.
But I'm also taking – I'm going to silence these Gregory Rousseau people. This guy is one of the most overrated prospects I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. I tweeted out a meme today. I was like, with the 11th overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the Giants select Greg Rousseau.
I hate Gregory Rousseau. I don't hate Gregory Rousseau. People just think he's like the next coming of Jesus Christ.
Logan, the picture I attached, I'm just going to share screen real quick. This was the picture I attached for my reaction to if that happens come April. So, yeah. That's how it would be.
You want to hear my notes on Gregory Rousseau? Because I got some stuff. I got some dirt on this man.
Oh, you got dirt? All right, define dirt, but then go on.
Not that quick off the ball. He does have great use of his forearm. Is primarily going to be used on the outside. Very skinny and lanky, which could be a disadvantage. Somewhat stiff in the hips and upper half. But is going to get production on the guard since he is longer and quicker, but that's not going to work at the next level, mostly. Because if you're just using your length.
Is this
Or-
dirt that you got from watching Votch, or did you do this?
I was watching Votch, but I was also taking my own notes.
Mm-hmm.
So good in run defense, gets blocked, but is so long he keeps people off him. Very raw, which could possibly not work at the next level. I don't even think he's worth an early second round draft pick.
You're looking at a lot of draft stuff early on. When do you plan to going into guys in the later rounds?
I have been going a little bit of later rounds, but not so much. Like, if we were to draft Micah Parsons in the first, I think we should go Sean Wade in the second or Derek Stingley.
That's Sean Wade last to the second. Once, like everything, like I said, there's not really telling as of right now who goes where. Sean Wade is one of those guys, the cornerback out of Ohio State, that I could see even going in the late first. He's been mocked first, second.
What's that kid from South Carolina?
That corner?
Yeah.
I don't have the name off the top of my head.
And Andrew Thomas, best tackle in the league. I think Sage Surratt's pretty good.
Chaz Surratt?
Sage Surratt, his brother. He's a receiver from Wake Forest. He's pretty good.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
In the late round?
Yeah, I'd pick him. I think he'll also the fourth.
Wait, who do you think is going to the fourth?
Sage Surratt.
Okay, bet.
Third or fourth.
All right, yeah. Logan, any other knowledge you want to drop on us before you dip out?
I'm good. Have a good night.
All right, man. Have a good one. I like the Barkley shirt. Peace out, my man. Next one I'm going to have up here is Giants Grit Talk. What's up, Giants Grit Talk? How you doing?
What's up? I'm going to have to say, did somebody go to the Jets facility and hold up a Bible to keep them from getting to Patrick Graham or something? Because that was a blessing in disguise.
That was a blessing in disguise, right, my man?
Yes. Talking about the draft in the later rounds, the linebacker spot. I've looked at a senior out of who transferred to LSU. I've talked about it with Nate. Jabril Cox. He's a good cover linebacker, and he's a really good tackler and can track down the running back from the backfield and make some really good tackles.
You're looking at a linebacker spot, so I mean, why aren't you looking at, say, somebody with a bit more coverage ability then?
Because when everybody knows that Jabril Peppers can't cover tight ends, and when I was watching Jabril Cox from half the season, he's a person who has a lot of good cover ability. He's covered tight ends pretty well. He could even match up against the slot receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at these later round picks. The first and second round really don't seem important to me, because when you look at this past offseason, Dave Gettleman showed that in the later rounds you can get some production out of these players from the later rounds.
Mm-hmm. I know at least this is one name tonight that I actually do know a little bit about, because I did look at him already, Jabril Cox. I do like him in, say, like the third or fourth, if he lasts there, linebacker out of LSU. Shout out to Mike Nixon, by the way, for $5 super chat. He says Derek Stingley is coming out next year. He is a sophomore. Mike is already looking ahead to the 2022 draft.
Yeah, I've watched Derek Stingley too. He has great play ability. He's played receiver, so he understands the route concepts, and he can track the ball really well. The only thing that just concerns me about him is the injuries.
Mm-hmm. What else can you tell me about, say, anybody? Honestly, talk your knowledge, man. I'm surprised so many subs are here looking at the draft like that.
Yeah, I watched Jamar Chase for 2 years. For the 2 years he was there, and he shows that he can play at any position and dominate. And it doesn't matter if he's been struggling in a game, he'll show that he can overcome that adversity and dominate a game and make a game-winning touchdown, or he can play at any position. I mean, I don't think Devontae Smith is going to be there at the 11th pick, because got the Eagles, the Lions, who are needing receivers. And
Oh, you're lagging
and
out there.
the Miami Dolphins. And then everybody's wanting Jalen Waddle. I'm just like, little his height and his weight. Like we need that tall receiver that can run down the field and run short routes and long routes. He can do everything. And then help Shepard, who's good at the slot. I mean, I'm surprised that Garrett didn't use him like he did Sunday.
You're talking Sterling Shepard because you lagged out for a bit there.
Yeah, Sterling Shepard.
Okay, yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying. So then, if we're picking an 11th. Who are you thinking about taking?
Yeah, I want Jamar Chase.
If he's not, it's probably not going to be there. So,
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I mean, he's like when you think about it, he probably will be because you got to think that half these players have taken a year off of football, and with the pandemic and everything, like I feel like he will be there, but I haven't seen any other receivers that's impressed me as much as he has.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do some more film study and look at the receivers coming out this draft. Nate's gonna hate me for it, but I kept mentioning Tony and maybe convert him outside from Florida.
Mm-hmm. What about Tony makes you think he could go on the outside, or what makes you like him?
Like when he looks like he has a good stature on him. I have to check his height, but it's just like the Justin Jefferson at the Vikings. He was meant to be a slot receiver, but they switched him outside, and he was really good at it.
Okay.
They didn't know he could run routes like that, so I'm like, well,
that's what you think you see in Tony.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Mike Nixon for the $5 super chat once again. He says, also, I think we could get by next year without an edge. Next year's edge class is so good. Kevon Tidabo. I might be butchering that, but on the first part, I do agree with it. I think we could actually get by this next year without an edge. I know it's literally our biggest need, and it sounds crazy for me to say that, but I don't see how we fill it in the draft or in free agency. In fact, in my draft I'm working on right now, it might end up without me selecting an edge at all. Just to kind of spoil that a little bit for you guys, I'm just like I don't see where I could fit it in, or I don't see where I see the value of taking somebody in this year's edge class. That's just me. I do think we could get by. It doesn't mean we're going to be great. What are you thinking about that?
I mean, like you said, like the Logan was saying, that Gregory Rousseau is overrated, and I agree with him because I watched some film with him, and some of the things that Miami did with him, like I don't feel like would fit the help him in the league. Like the guards, reaching at the guards and keeping them from touching him. He's right that that's not going to work in the league with the guards we got in the guards in the NFL and playing outside.
What about him? What about him just learning though, like that? And I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? One of the things I would talk about Rousseau is that he has so much potential. So why can't he just learn that when he gets to the NFL?
I mean, he has. It's going to be raw talent. It's going to be a long, grueling process for him to learn more than just to reach out and use one arm and trying to get to the QB. I mean, I've seen like he's a really good player. It's just that I don't feel like some of the technique he uses is going to help him in the NFL.
Okay, then. Well, Grit Talk, the last question I'm going to ask you tonight, I'm going to switch you out for PJ, is going to be if we're going wide receiver, because you obviously want wide receiver so badly in the first round, who are you going in the second and then the third, position-wise?
I think corner is going to be a really, really good one in the second round. I need to look at some other corners, maybe even wait till next year, because I like what Patrick Graham did this past week against Dallas, switch Love and yacht him out and play that quarterback 2 spot, and that kind of worked out pretty well.
Hey, but, for all we know, Julian Love might be the cornerback number 2 next year. That's not saying that we don't take a cornerback in this year's draft. We probably just don't take one high. I mean, I'm just saying that's one of the things when I make my first mock drafts of the year. The first one I always put out, I labeled the way too early one because it's so early for a lot of variables. One of those variables is, we might be drafting a position that 3 months from now looks completely unnecessary, but we probably have that player already on the team. Thank you for tuning in, Giants for Talk. Any last thoughts,
Yeah.
Mike?
I mentioned that the switching out Yadam and Love with KB, saying like maybe that we'll give Julian Love a little bit play time at that cornerback 2 spot, because we got 3 safeties. What's the use of having 4 on the field? I mean, Julian Love and Logan Ryan play corner, so I mean, maybe hold off a little bit longer on the cornerback 2 and maybe give him some playing time.
Okay, definitely. I could definitely agree with that. My man, have a good one, and I hope you stay tuned, bro.
All right.
Next up, I'm going to have PJ. PJ, I'm going to need you to turn on your camera before I add you in here, bro. If you can hear me, that is, PJ. PJ has yet to turn on his camera, so I'm going to just go to the person after him, who is Big Blue in the Bronx. What's up, Big Blue in the Bronx? How you doing?
What's up? Doing good.
What's up, man? All right, bro.
First thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, first thoughts. I did like how Julian Love played on Sunday at corner 2. He almost had a pick. It wasn't dropped, but that's okay. What?
Almost had 2, I said.
Yeah, I remember the first one. I remember the second one, but that's all right. I think the Giants definitely have to know what they have on the roster before they go out and draft. I definitely do think that there's a slight possibility, if we don't bring back Dalvin Tomlinson, that Davey G might do his due diligence and go draft a defensive tackle somewhere in the draft. I feel like that might just happen.
You're lagging out a bit here, Big Blue in the Bronx. I couldn't hear the last thing you said. You ended off on Davey G might do his due diligence.
I feel like if Dalvin Tomlinson is gone, they might just draft a defensive tackle to sub him. I feel like that's probably one of the things.
You mean necessarily high, or just
with Gregory Rousseau? I mean, I haven't done much work. Not necessarily high, probably mid to late rounds. Probably just to fill a spot and put a rotational defensive tackle in, or they may put in BJ Hill. What was I going to say? As far as Rousseau goes, I don't think the Giants should take that chance at 11. I think they go wide receiver. Like a Devonta Smith, if he's there, he's probably not going to be. And you also have to look at the teams that are drafting. You know, you can't just say, oh, Jamar Chase is going to be gone, because we don't know the teams. What are they going to select? Maybe if the Lions take a quarterback or a wide receiver, maybe the Cowboys are not taking a wide receiver again. They already got 3 elite targets. Maybe the Eagles take a corner like Patrick Surtain, and, Jamar Chase, he opted out. So he may be second on that list to Devonta Smith. And going back to that conversation I think you had with I think his name is like Jayden Dawkins or something. You're going to have those games where you said, where you're going to say, oh, shucks, we should have won that one. That's with every team. But I definitely think it was the Giants' responsibility to win those extra games and try to get a divisional title. But they weren't expected to do that this year with a winning team. And I'm very proud of where they stand right now going into the future. And I think you were happy that Gettleman came back, as was I. I don't think you start throwing a GM off the train when the train is going forward, because even if the GM did work well, I just don't want him going off the train, when you're going forward, because he's going to take out guys that Dave Gettleman put in with Joe Judge, and then we're going to be unhappy, just like a Ryan Connolly. He was out of here with Joe Judge coming in as well.
So first of all, I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure there's a massive lag between us, because when you talk, it's like a good maybe 10 seconds after I do, and then second of all, tell me what you mean by throwing him off the train. Like, are you saying you don't want us to take out guys or switch out guys out of positions? I'm kind of confused with what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is, like, Dave Gettleman so far in 2020, he's done a good job. 2019, first year of a rebuild. The first year was like Mara, pushing him to make Eli's last year. I felt as if they shouldn't have thrown him off the train and fired him when we're already making progress as a team. And people can say people can say whether Joe Judge had influence, and I'm pretty sure, maybe Judge did have influence, but I'm pretty sure the Maras are smart enough where they're not going to give GM and roster control to Joe Judge like Matt Rule wanted. So that's where I have the issue with that.
And also, Big Blue in the Bronx, one thing that at one point I've been trying to get across to Giants fans that say, well, Judge had a lot of influences. I'm like, he definitely did because, well, he was the head coach. But think about this for a second. How much power do you think the owners gave a first-year unproven head coach in his very first draft? I don't think they gave him that much. I'm like 99% sure Davey G still had a great hold over, drafting, say, and stuff like that. Now that might increase based off of what we've seen, but not last year in 2020. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I still believe he can draft, and he's had some bad picks, but especially with the late round linebackers that we took this year. I mean, Crowder had his bad games. Brown had his bad games. Brown had 2 holding penalties on special teams on Sunday, but still, those are rookie struggles, and they're late round picks, so you can't expect a lot out of them, especially for the fact that they're 7th round linebackers. So I think he did a good job there compared to, I don't know. I know we're always saying it, but he's probably, in my opinion, 2020 is his best draft. And with going along with this, wide receiver thing, should we get in the draft? Should we get in free agency? I think the Giants really need to assess in-house stuff first. Leonard Williams, Dalvin Tomlinson, Wayne Gallman, maybe. Someone said that, Kenny Galladay would be willing to do a prove-it deal. I don't think so. I think it's going to be big money for him. So I think the Giants should just take that need and go into the draft with it. And Giants should definitely look for, I think, a late-round tight end, in my opinion.
Late-round tight end. How late we talking? 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th, which is the last round we got?
I have to look at the prospects. It depends where. But you definitely need to assess wide receiver and edge first. 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, see what you got there. And then see what you got at corner. As I said, Julian Love played very well against the Cowboys, and Holmes, he's still growing. And maybe you take another interior offensive lineman, because it seems that Will Hernandez has fallen out of favor. Yes, I do have a channel, Authentic. Thank you. It seems like Will Hernandez has fallen out of favor, and I have a kind of a thing on that for Giants fans, because he was with another regime. But I feel that Giants fans, some of them who don't look at the film and the stats, say that because they're just getting it from the beat media. And I think they're really upset because Hernandez had a good rookie season and he's proving out to be an average guard. Now, if you ask me, and I don't mean to take up the whole entire conversation here, is that I would rather have an average guard who gives you solid play in 16 games rather than a bust 2nd round pick or possibly maybe a solid level guard that plays only 6.
Okay, that's a very interesting take on it. I definitely agree with the first part of what you said, which is fans falling off kind of the Will Hernandez train. And in my opinion, he's not as bad as, a lot of people make him out to be. He's still, like, if we're going to be blunt here, he's still better than Shane Lemieux. All right. Like, Shane Lemieux has a lot to improve upon, and that's understandable because he wasn't a 4th, he was a 5th round pick.
He's a 5th round pick, yeah.
He was a 5th round rookie, so it's understandable he has a lot to improve upon. But there's certain fans that definitely act like, he's already ahead of Will. Will, I do agree with one thing. When you look at, it's just been unfortunate, right? You look at the way his career has been. He had the great rookie year. The 2nd year he regressed, but so did basically everything with that Giants.
Everyone in the draft class from 2018 regressed.
Yeah, in the 2nd year, exactly. And I mean, guess what? I feel like people forget there's this thing called, I don't know, a sophomore slump. I mean, is it really that, what you call it? Is it really that improbable that maybe he went through a sophomore slump? And then you look at his 3rd year this year, where the offensive line in general did not have a hot start, but they got better as the time went along. I definitely agree with the first part. I don't know about the second one, though. You want to add a little light onto that second one? What you mean?
Which one was that? I forget.
You were like, you wouldn't rather a 2nd round bust that plays all 6, or was it you would rather a 2nd round bust?
I would rather have Hernandez and accept him, because a lot of teams around the league, they accept that some of their picks, 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, that they're not all winners, but they're average starters who you could put in certain positions and start 16 games. I would rather have that than, let's say, a 2nd round bust that doesn't do anything, or possibly, I know this is a little bold here, a great starter who only plays like 6 games a season is injury prone, Justin Pugh or a Weston Richburg.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what? So availability, the best ability is availability, is what you're saying then.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to add on, and I know I've liked him so far this season, Matt Parrott, and Shane Lemieux as well. But I'm kind of a little worried about Matt Parrott for this reason being he got more snaps towards the end of the season. He really struggled against the Ravens. I mean, what did the offensive line give up? 6 sacks? And I understand Daniel Jones, wasn't himself, but I looked at the film and, he's had problems with his hips. I know Bobby Skinner, he does film reviews and that stuff. He used to be a lineman, so he knows. But I'm starting to get a little worried that, more playing time, yes, more struggles, but will that go into next season? And do the Giants have to re-sign another veteran to be a stopgap at right tackle, or can they trust Pert in the future?
Here's the thing. I would say don't be too worried about it. I get the concern, but same thing as Shane Lemieux. Matt Parrott was a rookie. He's going to go through that. He was a 3rd-round rookie, so not as, not 5th round, not as deep. But the biggest thing about Matt Parrott coming on the draft, and it is kind of showing now with his struggles, that can be fixed, by the way. These are things that can be fixed. It just depends how long it takes to fix them. He was always that project tackle. So he was always going to take a little bit more development time than your usual tackle. And I'm just going to say, keep in mind that is what he is. He was the project. He's a big guy with a lot of raw talent and a lot of potential. And he was taken in the 3rd, and he's still a rookie. There's listen, if I'm going to speak frankly here, Matt Parrott might not even be polished until his 3rd year. That's just how it is sometimes, right? I'm going to say just give it time. But I definitely think, and this is why Joe Yada was bringing up, we're going to have to find a way to find a depth at the tackle position, because who knows, maybe Cam Fleming wants a little bit more money, or a team gives him a little bit more money, because no matter whether your depth or star left, the tackle position is a premium. That's kind of what you're saying. I think no matter what, we're going to need to find some type of tackle depth, even if Matt Parrott, does improve. We just need that depth there.
And regarding, I know a lot of Giant fans re-brung up the topic because the Washington football team won the division. Oh, the Giants should have lost that game because, Chase Young. Well,
I've seen that a lot on Twitter.
Yeah. I'm going to make this take right now, and I think you brought some sort of it up because the defense has been doing well. I would rather have the defense we have now and Andrew Thomas than a better edge and a left tackle who we don't know about. Because this could have been the way it went, and it could have went a million ways. You could have had no Andrew Thomas, Nate Solder opt out, Cameron Fleming probably be a left tackle, and maybe take a developmental tackle from the 2nd on at right tackle, and you wouldn't know what your offensive line would look like. The media would criticize the Giants for not fixing the offensive line. Therefore, in my opinion, in that situation, Dave Gettleman would have been fired, and you would have seen another GM walk in here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Big Blue in the Bronx. You're making a lot of sense right now. You're preaching to the choir when it comes to offensive line as well. This is a great point the dude brings up. If we let's say, play pretend, and it's always hard to do this when you go back in time. Let's say the Giants, we lose that game. We get the 2nd overall pick. We take Chase Young. Brings up a great point. Who's our left tackle? Because it ain't Nate Solder. Even if Nate Solder opted in, Nate Solder is some hot trash at this point of his career, right? Who's our left tackle? Who's our right tackle? Because Cam Fleming, when we signed Cam Fleming, right, he was signed after the draft, was he not? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He was signed in March.
He was signed in March.
End of
He
March,
was signed
I think.
before the draft. He was signed, and we knew he was a swing left tackle or swing right tackle, actually. Maybe we still sign Cam Fleming, maybe we don't. People would argue, oh, then that means the Giants just go harder for Jack Conklin or something, right? People would say, maybe we just go harder for Jack Conklin, maybe we go harder for somebody else. That's where all these ifs comes in. I completely agree with you. I would rather have a defense that this year was really good and still has room for improvement, but like I said, in my opinion, can survive without an edge for limited time, and a very nice, looking offensive line that has a way to go, than a trash offensive line. Like, can you imagine right now how bad would this offensive line be if there's no Matt Parrott and no Andrew Thomas and no Shane Lemieux, by the way, because that affects the entire draft. So no Shane Lemieux either.
Yeah, you'd be relying on veterans. And another thing, as I said, I don't want to be, hogging up the conversation here. If you're Joe Judge and, you're the front office, and if Will Hernandez has truly fallen out of favor of this coaching staff, you may want to rethink cutting Kevin Zeitler for the cap money.
That's the thing, though. That's where it comes up. I don't know. This is actually the first time I'm hearing the phrase Hernandez falling out of favor with the coaching staff. I really don't think he is. I'm guessing that is something that's circulating. I think Hernandez is fine. That's just me. But yeah, if he is, which once again, this is the first time really hearing of that in terms of that phrasing, then yeah, don't get Kevin Zeitler. I still don't want Kevin Zeitler as of right now to be gone. I understand why people want it to happen because the cap space, but Kevin Zeitler is still one of our best, if not our best, offensive lineman currently. That's just my take on it. So anything else you want to talk about, Big Blue in the Bronx?
I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely no problem, man. Have a good one. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to ask you, what do you want to do in terms of position the first 2 rounds in the draft before I let you go?
You take wide receiver round 1. As I mentioned earlier, you probably take Devonta Smith. He's probably not going to be there, but Jamar Chase, any other valuable wide receiver, you don't want to be reaching there. Even reaching for somebody who's not even who's a slot receiver. You don't want to be doing that. You have Sterling Shepard, you have Darius Slayton. You just need to add a big time playmaker. And if you don't do that in round 1, you do that in round 2. But the next one would probably be edge or linebacker for me. I think, as I said, Julian Love played very well against the Cowboys. And linebacker, you could definitely upgrade and rotate in Ty Crowder a little bit more at starting next to Blake Martinez. Or if you want to go edge, you have to put a playmaker there if you're actually going to take an edge. You can't just say, oh, take an edge and we're going to rotate him. No, that's not what second round is about. It's not what the first round is about. You got to take the talent that's there, value with the position, and value with the pick.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought up Tay Crowder because I saw a quote on Twitter literally a couple hours ago from Blake Martinez on Tay Crowder. Blake Martinez said he's the best rookie linebacker I've ever seen. Now, Blake could just be doing that to talk up his teammate, but I think that does kind of say a lot, and coming from somebody like Blake, who's obviously currently one of the best at his positions in the NFL. Big Blue and Bronze, thank you once again for coming in. Drop your channel, in the chat. Guys, go over there, sub them up, man. Have a good one.
Thanks, The Hub.
No problem. Next up, I got Dylan Renner. Dylan, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Hub? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. What you trying to talk about? Dylan, by the way, guys, on my first Madden stream ever, absolutely wiped the floor with me. That was like last year.
Yeah. All right. So basically, I just want to talk about, of course, there's big talk in the receivers, big talk about the draft this year. I want to talk about basically what everybody wants in the first round. So we're going to go wide receiver. Logan did a really good job evaluating certain wide receivers and certain prospects. But I have some other.
Oh, what just happened? Dylan, you just completely went out, man. Sound and video, it's gone.
Everybody thinks that it's going to happen is we're going to take Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is good. He gets good separation from certain wide receivers, but at the same time, his legs are very skinny. And I'm not saying that to be like rude or anything, but his legs are really skinny. And you could see that as an injury factor in the NFL. It could end up as, a big injury risk, which is scary. But he does a good job getting separation and getting free from his defender. But against the more physical corners, if you guys are looking for a number 1 wide receiver primarily, he's going to be he's going to be struggling a little bit because he doesn't do a good job separating from physical corners. So like a Jalen Ramsey or somebody like just a Jalen Ramsey or Marcus Peters or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's what I have to say about Devonta Smith. But a lot of Giants fans are looking for him.
Are you looking for him, or are you saying maybe I'll be wary of him because of that?
Sorry, what'd you say? You're muted. I think I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? Like I'm not muted right now. What's happening? Let me know if you can hear me or not. Do you have your headphones plugged in or something? You guys can hear me, right? The chat, you can hear me, right?
My bad.
Oh my God, Dylan, no, Dylan. All right, Dylan, I'm gonna remove you, bring in the next one, and then hopefully when I add you back, you will be in here. I'm gonna put that in the chat so Dylan could see that. Dylan, I will remove you and then add you back.
Do you hear me, bro?
Yes.
You do? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't hear you, bro.
Yes. And also, you know what? I'm going to type this into a Google Doc and share the screen so that the dude could see it. And yeah, because the chat could still hear me. So there's that. Dylan, Here you go.
Oh boy. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, bet. All right, that's Dylan, guys. Next person up is everybody's favorite, Nate Talks Giants. What's up, Nate? You've been asking to get in here early, man. There's people ahead of you.
Dude, I did not know there were people in here. You usually don't have a long line of people for these call-ins, or maybe I didn't know that you did.
Oh no, there's usually people in here. Tonight's actually kind of a slow night, which is why everybody's getting so much time. But usually there's a lot like can't even fit in the room. But what's up, Nate? Obviously, draft. I'm gonna assume you want to talk.
I will talk about whatever you want to talk about. I just wanted to get on. I mean,
Oh,
I'm doing these. These are fun.
for sure. Go ahead. Start off with any topic you want, man. Patrick Graham, college. What's up?
I mean, we can talk about all of it. Patrick Graham is huge. Just we have so much young talent on that defense in the secondary specifically. We got a lot of young talent, and then Logan Ryan. But aside from Logan Ryan, got a lot of young talent there. Some young guys in the linebacking core, some young guys on the defensive line. Just a lot of youth that really needs that time in the system and the time with a defensive coordinator like him. Like if he leaves next year, it won't be nearly as bad as him leaving this year, because he'll at least have gone most of the way towards finishing the job. But thank God.
Giants are already winning, bro, and the offseason hasn't officially began.
Big facts. Now Chargers got to help us out a little bit.
Chargers are, I'm surprised because once I saw the report that the Chargers put in requests to interview Jason Garrett, I was like, oh, this means probably other teams as well. But so far, nothing. You know who I would love Garrett to go to? This is terrible. This is terrible, but I would love for him to go to the Texans. That would be hilarious. That would be so hilarious. Because I love Deshaun Watson, but that would be hilarious if he goes to the Texans.
Why you got to do this to Houston fans, Kush? Why?
I'm sorry, man. It literally popped into my head. But why do you think only the Chargers, like literally just the Chargers, are the only team right now that requested an interview for him?
Well, I think if I had to go off the top of my head, it's probably because Jason Garrett is a terrible offensive coordinator and the Chargers are stupid. That would be my best guess.
Okay. I mean, the Texans are also stupid.
That's true. But by the way, that reminds me, did you see the soundbite with J.J. Watt that came out yesterday? Him and
Yes.
walking off the field.
That was sad.
That was heartbreaking, man.
That
and
was
like,
so
J.J.
sad.
Watt saying that to Deshaun Watson. Like for those in chat who didn't see it, J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson are walking off the field after their last game on Sunday. And J.J. Watt leans in and says, yo, man, I'm so sorry we just wasted your season. Because Deshaun Watson had an incredible season statistically.
Yeah, he led the league in passing yards.
And now you just got to think, first off, J.J. Watt is the consummate teammate, the consummate leader, that he's saying that to Deshaun Watson. And then poor J.J. Watt, he's the one saying that to Deshaun Watson. Man, the Texans have wasted every good J.J. Watt season. That's sad as hell, man.
They've wasted every good J.J. Watt season, and so far they've technically wasted every good Deshaun Watson season. You know what made it even more sad to me is I'm like, JJ, bro, you shouldn't be apologizing, my guy. I'm just like, damn.
That hurts, man. Because J.J. Watt is like one of those dudes that you always hear. He's such a great football player, but an even better man. He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year guy. He's like Larry Fitzgerald. You want to see him succeed. And this poor dude's walking off the field apologizing to the young quarterback. That stinks. But yeah, I was thinking that because you brought up the Texans thing.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? JJ, I don't know what's going to happen with him. He's been a great player to the city of Houston in general, but I don't know, man. As a football fan, I don't want to see him stay with the Texans at all.
I want to see him find some success somewhere. He's one of those guys that just deserves a ring, man. That's his super chat if you want to shout that out.
Shout out to Mike Nixon once again for the $5 super chat. He says, imagine this. If we did this rebuild right, Quentin Nelson in 18, 19 we dropped Allen. He's talking about the pass rusher and Dexter in 20 we draft Herbert and then Penny Sewell. Here's the thing, Mike Nixon. You, my guy, this is the definition of revisionist history right here, bro. This is like any team could do this right now, bro. About what you're presenting. Like any team could go back and say, yo, we about to Madden and I just see John Doe said that. We're about to hit the Madden rebuild reset. That's way too perfect, bro. It's too perfect.
That's the thing about the draft. You can never expect that. The draft is a lottery at the end of the day. It's so random. It's so easy to be armchair GM. Literally any good player ever, you can say, oh, but 31 other teams could have gotten them. Like, you know, they could have traded up for Patrick Mahomes. The Bears could have taken Patrick Mahomes. It's just, you can't do that to yourself. It's true, but there's no point to it.
And going back to what Nate just said, it's a lottery. It's why I even said, I've been continuing to say up until March, and even then, it still is a lottery. Everything right now is a crapshoot in terms of trying to say who goes where. What you can definitively do is evaluate these players and make your own conclusions of that. But in terms of predicting who goes where, listen, man, that's really like we've seen players drop and we've seen players go way above where we thought they were going to go. It's just how it is.
Facts. I mean, just talking about the draft, that's a nice little segue into that. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk for a minute because I was going to talk about Greg Rousseau. Then y'all talked about it and y'all covered it, man. Everything that Logan was saying, everything that y'all were saying after him in response to it, y'all are hitting the nail in the head. Greg Rousseau is just an in-betweener type of player. There's nothing he does particularly well in the like on an NFL level. So we're not going to even talk about him. I want to talk about Micah Parsons and the fact that I do like Micah Parsons. I love him as a prospect.
Hold up. Mike just saved himself with another $5 super chat. Thank you, Mike, so much. He says, but then I woke up. I'm fine with the team we have now. Okay, he caught us. He had us in the first half. I ain't going to lie. Continue.
Yeah, first half. But my point here being, Micah Parsons is a great player, huge athletic potential. I don't, after further consideration, I don't know if I'd take him over a lot of guys in the first round, simply because I've hammered on this for a long time. We need a very specific archetype of linebacker in the middle of the field, and that's a guy that can drop back into a deep Tampa 2 zone, manage a hook zone, pass defend well, cover a tight end, and he has the athletic ability to do it. He absolutely does. But I said this before, and I'll say it again. I really, really, really wish he had gone back to college one more year and proven to me that he can do it. Because at the moment, all we have to go on is his tape from last year. And based on his tape from last year, he doesn't really have the instincts for it. He doesn't have the zone feel. He doesn't really – you can tell always how some guys just have that feel when they drop back into his zone. They just know how to manage it well. They sort of see the whole field at once. They know who's going where. He doesn't really seem like he's got that. He seems very much like a downhill player, a great downhill player, but a downhill player. So I'd love to have him on the team. I'm not saying that, but I don't know if I'd take him over someone like Patrick Surtain. No, strike that. I definitely wouldn't take him over someone like Patrick Surtain because Patrick Surtain is a guy we already know is a fit. He's a man-to-man corner that fits what Graham's probably going to want to transition
to. What I'm going to ask you is, in any round, have you seen anybody at that linebacker spot that you're good with coming in and covering? Who?
McGrone.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Cameron McGrone, linebacker out of Michigan.
I just want to say, guys, I was doing, a little bit scouting for my mock draft today. Look what name I got there. Look what name I got there. Cameron McGrone, bro.
Of getting it. There we go. Getting your
go ahead. Tell the people about him.
Because he's a freak athlete. He's got actual coverage instincts. That's what he was sort of used in as a hybrid linebacker by Michigan. They used him going downhill. They used him dropping back in zone. I love his versatility, which is a huge thing in this defense. I think Cameron McGrone is going to be a great player for somebody.
And Nate, I hate to say this because I've been saying it so much. I legit don't know where he could go.
Yeah,
I literally don't know where he's gonna go. Like I've been struggling with this mock. I'm like, yo, do I take him somewhere like the second? But there's a legit chance he may drop to the third. I've seen, and this is kind of crazy, but the fact that I've seen it tells you how random it is. I've seen people mocking him in the fourth and later.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
I mean, anyone who's talked to me about prospects, about draft guys for long enough back in time towards the beginning of the college season, because I know a lot of people don't do it, but I always like to start looking at guys at the beginning of the college season just so I can get as much in as possible. And I was looking from the beginning of the season, and it's so frustrating because this happens all the time. You watch a player, you say, oh my God, he's amazing. He's an incredible value because he's projected to be like in the third round. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
That's another dude I have on this list right here who I'm like, you know what? He's going to go in the first, bro. He might go in the first.
I looked at Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I was like, dude, this is our guy. He's our skill set. He's what we need. And then a week later, guys are like, there's a linebacker out of Notre Dame named Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's going to be a top 15 pick. It's so frustrating. It happened with J.C. Horn, the corner out of South Carolina that Logan was talking about before. That's J.C. Horn. And I was big on him since the start of the season, since that Auburn game where he shut down Seth Williams. And then a week later, J.C. Horn finding his way into the first round of mock drafts. It grinds my gears inside, man.
Shout out to Mike Nixon once again for the $5 super chat. Mike out here, bro, coming in clutch. He says, but Nate, don't you think we could teach him? I think that I would take my boy Parsons over Surtain.
Okay, so that's a fair argument. My personal opinion is that when it comes to taking a guy in the first round, especially up at the 11th pick, the most important thing you can get, in my opinion, is security. There has to be, of course, the upside to be worth the pick, but if it's between two guys, and I think they both have great upside for their respective positions, as they both do. I think they're both in that same echelon of prospect, right? But Patrick Surtain is so much more of a sure bet in my mind. Obviously, every prospect can bust at any time, but I just think it makes so much more sense with such less risk. Maybe I'm crazy there. Y'all tell me in the chat if I'm more of a moron than usual, but I just think that Surtain makes more sense. Parsons is an incredible player, and we can talk about him in 1 second more specifically because I want to talk about him, but I just think Surtain makes more sense.
Okay, thank you. And by the way, shout out to y'all. We got hit 50 likes. Thank you so much. You said we could talk about Surtain. Honestly, that you're kind of comparing, in my opinion, the best cornerback in the draft to the best linebacker in the draft. And no matter which way you go, I think ultimately it comes down to just which position you value more. If we're going to be honest here, I want to get back because you kind of hit on two dudes that were on my list with Owusu and McGrone. Like I said, Owusu's risen up draft charts very, very quickly. Right? What happened?
He's not worth our pick, I'll tell you right now.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. He's probably going to go 20s, to be honest with you, right? But the thing is, right, I'm like, yo, do you think there's any chance he could still drop into the second? I think we picked 44. And if he's there, would you take him?
If he was there in the second round, would I take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah? I don't know. Is the sky blue? I mean, what's Chris's favorite saying? Is a bear shit in the woods?
Is the Pope Catholic?
Is the Pope Catholic? Yes, I would take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I see it. He's one of those guys that he's gonna go to the combine and he's gonna be a combine warrior. And people are gonna say, "Oh my God, have you seen this guy out of Notre Dame? He's an athletic freak. He's a linebacker that can do it all. He's the modern day prototype for an NFL linebacker." And he's gonna rise and rise and rise and rise and rise and rise.
Yo, Joe, listen, Joe, I completely agree, which is why I'm hoping it happens. He says McKinney was supposed to be in the second, and it's also why me and Nate both said it's a lottery at the end of the day, especially right now, January 5th. It's way too early to honestly kind of predict that. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just put out basically my first real video about prospects. And I said in the very beginning, listen, y'all, this is going to change drastically. This is not going to be the same, maybe even next week.
Mm-hmm.
These rankings, these different things, because there's always more to learn. There's always more to see. There's always different stuff shifting and changing and going on in football. And I didn't even do more than 5, 6, 7 players at any given position. It was just talking about which prospects I like at different positions on the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not – I don't feel good about making a concrete ranking of where players are going to go. Like you've said, all we can really do at this point is rank where we like them. So I think that's sort of the best thing we can do at this point. As we get along, we'll sort of get a better feel for it in terms of the order.
I got a couple of cornerbacks here that I was looking at post first round. So this is literally anywhere from the second to the fourth that I was looking at.
Be on this list.
Who?
Asante Samuel better be on this list.
You call me crazy. I think he might go late first, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he might go late first. But that's the reason I didn't even consider him, because I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna be at our pick, or he just might go in the second right ahead of us. Because we're
reason to not consider him than not liking him. So I'll take that.
That is true. These are the guys I got, not in any particular order. You already mentioned J.C. Horn. I got Eric Stokes, Trey Dean, Sean Wade, Elijah Molden. Any thoughts on any of those guys if you've already looked at them?
Yeah, Elijah Molden, I think, is a slot. I look at him, and he plays a lot of reps out of the nickel, and he's got that same prototype size, very Darnay Holmes-ish to me. I think he is a slot in the league. So you can go ahead and shout out Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Nixon for the $2 super chat. He says, "Yo, Kush, we should do a watch party for the combine." Isn't the combine during the day?
Yeah.
Let me see. What day? Have they confirmed a actual date yet?
I don't know, but usually the bigger events are on weekends, I think.
Let's see, 2021 Combine. Nothing's popping up yet in terms of a date. I'm down if I'm available because, I mean, yeah, I'll be home.
For me, I look at a guy like Molden, and I think he's one of those Washington DBs because Washington produces some sneaky good DBs, and I think he's going to be a good corner in the league. It just comes down to the same thing with a lot of these receivers. He's a slot in my mind, and we just don't need another one. So I would not be in on that. And there's another one you said. Can you run down that list again, starting with Eric Stokes?
Well, Eric Stokes was third on the list, then I had Trey Dean and then Sean Wade.
Trey who?
Dean.
I don't even know who that is, legitimately.
Trey Dean out of Florida. Trey Dean the third.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it.
Definitely look into it. Well, like I said, this was only what I gathered from today. He was somebody I was looking at possibly as a cornerback number 2. And then Sean Wade. I think we both spoke a little bit about Sean Wade, or did we not? What do you think about Sean Wade?
Sean Wade. So I said that I think Elijah Molden is a slot. Sean Wade is a slot. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He played in Ohio State for 2 years starting now. Last year, he was playing behind Damon Arnett and Jeff Okudah. So we were like, oh, yeah, sure. He's a nickel now just because those guys are there. But next year, he'll be the boundary corner, right? And this year, he's playing the boundary, and it's not looking too good. He's a nickel in my mind.
Okay, Joseph Balby says we should have a fan. I'm down. It's just going to be whenever when it's not Rona time, bro. That's literally all it is. There was supposed to be one this past year. Like usual, I always go to a MetLife game. Joseph Balby says, how could you dislike the hub? I guess somebody in here just hit the dislike. It is what it is, my guy. It is what it, then he says, never mind. Joseph, make up your mind. I got a question here for you from Andy P. I never hear Justin Ross when mentioning the wide receiver position. If we draft Surtain in the first round, Ross could probably fall. First, give me your – I just dropped my pen, by the way. First, give me your thoughts on Ross and then answer the question.
First off, I think Ross is a waste of really great potential because of that injury. I'm not comfortable picking him anywhere other than a late-round flyer. It just doesn't make sense. That was a bad injury, and he still hasn't even put on pads yet. So I'm not going to pick him at any sort of value, like maybe a 5th-round flyer on him. But we aren't even 100% sure yet that he'll ever play again. So I'm not willing to do that.
If you give me a couple, or you know what, I'm gonna let you take it from here. What exactly do you want to talk about from here? It doesn't even have to be draft, but what are you thinking?
I mean, I think there is one thing I want to say about the draft before we move on from it, and it's that I am guilty of this as much as anybody. We like to have these ideas in our head of what we absolutely want to happen in an offseason in a draft, like as a best case scenario. And we need to remember that even if we don't get our best case scenario, it can still work out pretty damn well. So just saying, if we end up on the board at 11 and all 3 of the best receivers in the draft have been taken, and a guy whose name I dare not speak lest OGR haunt me, if Rashad Bateman goes off the board at 11 and all of you are whining about it, saying it's a reach, you're going to be complaining about it until he balls out in the start of the season. So there's still a lot of great players that aren't necessarily the biggest names in the draft. Like Kwity Paye, if Leonard Williams moves on and we take Kwity Paye at 11, I will not be upset whatsoever.
Yeah. Did the first person, did Joel say that? I think, yeah, Joel said that. That was the first thing he brought up. He was like, if Leonard Williams moves on, Paye is the guy that makes the most sense in the draft if we're going to look to replace him in the draft. I won't like it because I don't think he's worth the 11th overall pick. But guess what? It's something that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. Do you know why Joel said that? Because Joel knows his damn football. He's absolutely right. Kwity Paye is a guy with the perfect size to be able to slide into a 3-tech and then back out to a 5-tech across from the tackle. He can play both inside and outside. He has a great exterior set of moves. He can get a swim to the interior. He's got just freak athleticism for his size, and that size allows him to take on a guard sometimes. So listen, if we end up with Kwity Paye, don't be mad that we have Kwity Paye. You can be upset that we didn't get another guy that you like. You can be like, oh man, I wanted friggin' J.C. Horn at the 11. I wanted someone XYZ. You can be upset about that, but don't be acting like Kwity Paye isn't also a beast. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. By the way, ABC Def, or I just say it as ABCDEF.
Yeah, it is ABCDEF. He's asking about Farley out of Virginia.
Yeah, so Farley is an excellent player, but his injury history scares me. I'm just not willing to pick him with any sort of value, just because. Listen, we talk about Paulson Adebo, who is sort of that, except to a much lower extent. Not quite as good a player, not quite as bad an injury history, but Jesus, Caleb Farley is. Remember when I was talking about how I wanted to minimize risk with a first-round pick that high? He is the opposite of that philosophy. He is either going to be a boom or a bust.
Shout out to Mike Nixon, $5 super chat. He says, all right, last super chat of the night. Thank you, Mike, for all of them. He says, Justin Ross is coming back to Clemson, but I'm lying down, Kush. I will be watching, done commenting. Thank you so much, Mike. And Nate, if you stay on, I'm going to bring you back in when I bring back in Bobby. I'm sure you would definitely stay on for that. I'm going to get these other calls in, and then I'll get you back on, bro.
Adios.
Next up is Dylan Renner. He's back. Dylan, is your stuff fixed?
Yeah, it's all good.
Good. I completely forgot what we were talking about because I just had the convo with Nate. So what's up?
Yeah, we're talking about the wide receiver class. I had Devontae Smith. I just said some stuff, but so I think.
You were talking Devontae Smith and his skinny legs.
Yes, I was. Yeah. I mean, he's not a bad player. I really want him. But separation factors scares me, especially because everybody's talking about Darius Slayton and how he can't get open off of tight corner coverage. So I mean, I kind of expect that. But the thing about Jamar Chase, if we go to Jamar Chase now, everybody, it seems like he's everybody's favorite wide receiver. However, he does have some problems getting separation too. But he has such a good catching ability. He's a great possession catcher. I mean, that's why everybody loves him so much, because he makes these ridiculous catches, and he's great. Jamar Chase is a great player. Now, I think he'd be good with the Eagles, and it's scary, but I mean, he's gonna be on the board probably at 6, and I mean, it all depends where the Eagles go, but Jamar Chase is pretty good, and then he definitely can work on his separation ability later in the. Through growth of the NFL. But yeah, that's pretty much where my stance is on him. Good receiver though, very good. Wow, there's let me say this.
You kind of sound like you're still undecided as to who you want.
Yeah, it's only January, so like we have a lot more time to evaluate people. But I have only done certain people in like the first round. Kwity Paye. Let me say this: Kwity Paye could end up being a better edge rusher than Gregory Rousseau, but there's a lot of hate on Gregory Rousseau for no reason. Now listen, this guy is new to the position, guys. All right, he is definitely a raw player, but I mean, he's just new to the position, so you guys gotta take it easy on him. I understand the hate and everything, but in Miami, he's just a little new. So I think
that's why people were wanting him to kind of go back. You got literally 1 year of him at that position.
Yeah, and I completely understand that completely. But if I really like Kwity Paye. He's very strong. The thing about why everyone hates Gregory Rousseau is because he doesn't have a lot of techniques in his arsenal. So he doesn't have like no bull rush. He's not gonna take a guy. Like, he's not going to take Khalil Mack kind of approach to where he's just bulldozing over tackles and getting a sack, That's why everyone doesn't really, because it's completely different from last year. I mean, Chase Young was more of a bulldozing guy. He has so many parts in his arsenal that he could just use. So, I mean, that's why everybody I think that's why everyone hates Gregory Rousseau. Now, Jaylen Waddle. All right, if we're going to go back to wide receivers, he could end up as one of the best wide receivers in this class. He is scary.
Real quick before you do get to that, shout out to Jayden Dawkins for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, my man. He says Kid Blue and Nate are Dallas fans. Well, you guys have been calling Nate the son of Jason Garrett, and now you've been calling him the mini Andy Dalton. And you're saying Jaylen Waddle right when you were talking about Chase and Smith. People in the chat were like, I'm kind of feeling Waddle, and then they're saying, yo, draft Waddle. Waddle is the move. So what do you have to say about him?
Waddle. Again, primarily he played more in the slot at Alabama, but he's insane. He's definitely one of the more top wide receivers. He could definitely be one of the best ones in this class by far. And I know he didn't play a lot. It's like him and Devontae Smith are like the complete opposite. Devontae Smith had a high production. His stats were incredible. I think that's why everyone loves Devontae Smith. His stats are incredible. But Jalen Waddle, he only played, I think, what was it, 6 games maybe this year?
Yeah, he got injured, right?
Yeah, he got injured. So, I mean, there's not too much tape to go off of him. But, I mean, he's definitely deserving to be in the first round. But Jalen Waddle, let me go back to my notes real quick. I completely.
Okay, while he's taking a look at the notes, I'll take a look at the chat, guys. Let's see here. Joey Adams was in response to Gregory Rousseau. He says he's a 2-year project. John Doe is saying maybe Kyle Pitts is the move. Go on.
He's a great receiver, but again, we don't need a slot. So if that makes sense, because we already have Shepard. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do with Tate, but
I'm just gonna ask you.
I'm all for cutting Tate
up in the chat,
and I'm not all for cutting Zeitler though. I mean, the offensive line performed so great this year.
Yo, you can hear me, Dylan? Right?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
It's happening again, Hub.
It's happening. Yeah.
It's all right.
It's okay.
I had a good time talking about it anyway, so you know what? That's fine.
It's all right, bro.
That's fine.
Peace.
See you guys.
Peace.
See you, my boy.
Next up, I got Rob from Nerding Out Sports. I'm guessing it happens when he switches apps because he switched to his Notes app and then he went back and it was gone. What up, Rob? How you doing, man? Guys, go over check out Nerding Out Sports.
What's up, Hub? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. What were you trying to talk? We had a lot of draft talk tonight.
I want to talk about draft too because I feel like that's really all we have to talk about right now.
It's the move right now, yeah.
Yeah, we got Patrick Graham back. We're happy about that. Hopefully, Garrett's gone. I tried to be positive with him, but he just didn't show us anything. Very bland.
Chargers, come and take your new head coach, Chargers.
Take him, yes.
But then I'm gonna ask you what I've asked everybody, including myself. I've been on the get Jason Garrett train since week 4, basically. Who's replacing them?
I think it might have been Bobby Skinner who put it on Twitter. Ken Dorsey is the Bills quarterback coach, and he brought him up. I thought that was a pretty good idea because he's done some good stuff with Josh Allen over there, clearly. But I think we're probably going to go in-house, and I think that Shaplinski might be the guy if they move on. I don't know about Freddie Kitchens.
I was about to say over Kitchens. What's your reasoning?
I think it was in your stream last night. Nate brought up a really good point, how he changed back to a previous offensive system that didn't work when he took over as head coach. And if he's calling the plays like that, he opened things up a little bit more for us when he called the plays that one game. But success, I don't know. If they go with Kitchens, I won't be too upset, but I would like them to look elsewhere before going with him.
In response to that, this is the same thing I told Nate, and who else was on the stream that also told Nate this? I'm sorry, my mind is blanking. We both said basically, well, that's kind of, I feel like, the offensive coordinator to head coach syndrome, where you just have so much more responsibilities that it's not a surprise that your offensive play calling kind of goes down into the toilet. But it's still a point that you definitely have to look at, and that's why. What about Saplinski though? Tells you that he's going to be a good offensive coordinator.
I think they're going to want to keep Jones in a similar system so he hasn't learned something completely new, although it wouldn't be the worst thing considering this system did not work very well. But everything's up in the air right now. More than likely, I think they're going to keep the same staff unless Garrett really wows the Chargers in his interview.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Joe Judge wants to keep the staff for at least one more year.
Mm-hmm. And then what about Pro Bowler Evan Ingram? What are we doing with the Pro Bowler Evan Ingram? The Pro Bowl tight end of the NFC, Evan Ingram.
It still haunts me because we could have had Ryan Ramczyk that year that we took him.
Once again, hey, man, I said it all the time, but I can't say it one time in the stream and not say it again. That is revisionist history.
Yeah. But, it's weird that when going into the season, we were all talking about we need him to be healthy and we know what he can do. And he was healthy, and he amounted to nothing but turnovers. I think half of Jones's interceptions can be placed solely on Evan Ingram, right? Like was it 6?
Yeah, I think there was like 5 or 6 of Ingram's like passes that got tipped or somehow got. Yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. I don't think they're going to move on from him. They like him. We know he can be explosive, but I think we have to get a guy like Caden Smith more involved. I don't think we're going to draft one unless we do move on from Evan Ingram. But and I just think Joe Judge really wants to keep the team together as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Even the offensive, like I completely understand that on the defensive side of the ball. Offensive side, in terms of offensive line, yes, but you're seeing it for tight end as well. Okay. Well, Ingram, in my opinion, we all know how I feel about Evan Ingram. But if I'm thinking next year, I really think he's gonna be here for the start of the season. I don't know if he's gonna be here by the end of the season. No, maybe we trade him during the season, but
Right.
Mark my words, unless like something drastic happens, I see Evan Ingram with this team the starting of the 2021 season.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think if we have a slow start again next year, which I'm hoping we don't, and he's playing well, if he corrects those drop issues and all that stuff, then he becomes a trade piece. Because I don't know how his value can be high right now. He's a Pro Bowler for some strange reason, and teams are going to look at all of his drops and his struggles and say, we'll give you a fourth. I mean, are you going to give him up for a fourth round pick when you know his potential? Because he's shown it to us before. It's just
you know what's the crazy thing, Rob? I'm so convinced that if Ingram does go to another team, he's going to completely ball out there. I'm so convinced of that. But he's not going to ball out with us.
Happens all the time. When former Giants leave, they struggle. I mean, even for like a small bit of time, Eli Apple was playing pretty well with the Saints
when he first got there.
Yeah, but he was an epic failure, and I don't want to relive those Jerry Reese days though.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving in a positive direction.
So getting back to the draft, then you said you want to talk draft. What are you thinking?
Kwity Paye, man. If we can get him at 11, I'd be ecstatic. He's a great player.
You're the first person to come on that say outright you want Kwity Paye.
Look, I know we need a receiver, and I've been looking at it. Once we were officially eliminated, I went right into draft mode. I became Mel Kiper pretty much. Like, he comes out of hiding every year for the draft, and I think we need to, like I heard you say it before, finish the defense. And to me, this receiving class is loaded. That we know that the elite guys in this class, we could see a lot of good players fall to the later rounds, that we can grab one in the second, maybe even third. And if Nate's still in the chat, Tamari Terry, I'm a huge fan of him as well. I feel like we can possibly get him even in the third round, and that would be a steal.
I don't know about the third, because I've been saying it as well a lot of times. And yo, shout out to Rob, bro. You remember something that I haven't said in months? Finish the defense. I said back in like the middle of the season, where I'm like, the plan for the offseason should be finish the defense, because we already fixed it. You just need the finishing pieces and fix the offense. And I've always been a wide receiver guy, but I'm starting to lean more and more towards the defensive for the first round pick, because my mentality of finish the defense is coming back.
Right.
I'm going to have to see. Kwity Paye is not there for me yet. Like I said, when people brought him up before, I'm not going to be mad if we take him, because I'm just going to be, I don't know, I'm just not going to like it, but I'm not going to be mad about it, because it's like he's a good player. Here's the question, though. If Leonard Williams is still here, do you still take him? You think he could really function as like an outside linebacker, or are we just going to have another defensive lineman?
I'm banking on Williams not being back. It's not that I don't want him. I just don't think we're going to pay him unless he takes less than what he originally wanted, but he shouldn't after balling out this year. He should get what he feels like he deserves. And the Giants have a lot of needs, and they're not going to have as much cap as we might think, because they might not move on from Kevin Zeitler, because there's no certainty with these guards. And like everyone's been saying tonight, he's the best one we have right now. He's probably our best lineman, although KB's favorite Nick Gates had a really good year. But I just don't know.
Hey, don't count out my boy Andrew Thomas. He's going to be there next year.
Oh, I'm a big Andrew Thomas fan. I'm just saying, in terms of our best lineman right now, it's got to be Zeitler. So maybe he takes a little bit of a pay cut, or unless they outright trade him and they move forward with Lemieux and Hernandez. But the cap situation, we don't know what it's going to be. And can we afford to pay Leonard Williams 18 to possibly 20 million when there's a guy like Kwity Paye who can possibly be had at number 11 that, as everyone said tonight, can slide right into that role.
So then that's kind of what you're banking on then. So then if Leonard does stay, if we somehow retain him, which once again, you bring up a good point. everything we're talking about right now that fans are talking about that they want to happen in terms of clearing up cap space, that's what they want to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to happen.
Right.
But in that situation that we somehow get Leo back, who are you looking at first round?
It depends if a guy like Devonta Smith is there. If we can go receiver, but Patrick Surtain would be a huge get. I mean, our secondary is probably the biggest hole in our defense, aside from edge rushers. But we can't forget that Carter and O'Shane Jimenez will be back next year. And Carter was balling out before getting hurt. And it's such a shame that he went down. We could still bring back Kyler Fackrell, maybe.
Which is why, by the way, once again going back, I think we could survive another year without an edge. I really do think we can.
And this class is not loaded with edge rush talent. That's why I think if we went with Kwity Paye at 11, he'd be the best one we can get. I mean, there's some good guys.
And he wouldn't even be an edge for us. He'd be the interior.
Right. Yeah. There's some decent guys like in the later rounds, but someone brought him up, Thibodeau from next year's draft. He's going to be an early pick. I don't think we're going to be picking that early. Hopefully not next year, but ideally if he was in this draft class, he'd probably be the number one guy.
Mm-hmm. I thought he brings up a point. He says because Gambling traded for him, Leo might be back.
That's very true.
Joseph says chill podcast tonight. Well, Joseph, what's the name of the podcast, my guy? The Just Chillin' Pod. I'm sorry. Anyway, Brett Quokka says, what if we he doesn't say what if, I'm going to rephrase it. What if we let Tomlinson go and then draft Paye? How would you feel about that?
That'd be interesting because then Dexter Lawrence probably moves into that nose tackle position.
Yeah, he would definitely go on the nose just because of his size, straight up.
And we're still going to be running that 3-4, so Leonard Williams can still play on the end. I mean, that can certainly work. I would prefer we keep this defense together as much as possible. But, again, it's just a money thing. We just have to see where the cap goes and all that.
And to answer Lucas's question, would Leo get 10 sacks if we had better outside? Of course. If we had better outside linebackers, 100% he gets 10 sacks. At least I think so, because that's just taking more pressure off of him, in my opinion. What are you thinking?
Maybe a few less, because he had a couple of games with 3 sacks this year. Mm-hmm. So he might have had 6 or 7 maybe with a guy. If Carter stayed healthy and if O'Shane was out there, maybe they have about 5 each. So maybe he has less, but there's no doubt he was getting pressure a lot. And that's one thing that he did last year that people forget because he only had half a sack.
Mm-hmm. He was also double teamed last year. I still remember the stat, like 62% of the times. Right. I'm gonna have to look at what it was this year because definitely not as much. I would think because teams learn, but he was definitely double teamed a lot this year as well. What are you looking at in terms of inside linebacker or cornerback? Any round, anybody.
Cornerback. I like J.C. Horn. If we got him, I wouldn't be mad. I don't know if we get him at 11.
11 would be way too high.
Yeah, that'd probably be a reach. I like am I forgetting his name right now? Asante Samuel. Really like him. Asante Samuel Jr. Sean Wade would be a good pick. I like Paulson Adebo as well. I mean, I feel like wide receiver and cornerback are two pretty loaded classes in this draft class. So we could go edge, receiver, corner, or corner receiver in that order in the first 3 rounds. And I think we can find some really good players to fill out this roster.
And what about the linebacker? If you looked at it.
Micah Parsons is the elite. I forgot who mentioned him, but they mentioned Sage Surratt, but his brother, Chaz Surratt, he can be a pretty interesting player, maybe in the 2nd to 3rd round. I'm not sure where he's projected to go, but inside linebacker, I like Tay Crowder, and I think that we could survive with another year of him and David Mayo, and we've seen some interesting players play big roles.
You already know me, Rob. You've been watching my channel for months now. My dream would be if Tay Crowder just develops into the guy that we need at second middle linebacker.
You never know. I mean, if he didn't get hurt, he was playing really well. Just hope he's not another Ryan Connolly situation.
Mm-hmm. So, Rob, any last thoughts before I switch you out here, bro?
No, man. I mean, I'm excited about the way this team is headed. Everybody sub up to the hub if you haven't already, and if you want to check my channel, go ahead and do so. And if we can get on here and do some more streams, I'd be all for it because when we were on PTAs that time for the Christmas party, that was a great time, man.
For sure, Rob. I'm definitely trying to get out there a little bit more. I've been trying to get Diggy involved as well. You guys seen that? I'm completely down. Go over there, check Rob's stuff out. Not just Giants, as you could see by the stuff on his wall. Yankees as well. All right, Rob, have a good one, man.
You too, man.
Next up, Drew Schneider. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Drew, I saw your face, and I'm like, this dude looks like a troll that was on OGRs at one point. I hope he's not. He's had his camera on the entire time, so he's followed protocol. Drew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good, man. What's up? What you trying to talk about?
Wait. First off, I do not know what the troll thing was.
Oh no, I'm just saying. Like, I see you now. It's just that you look very similar to a kid that was on OGR's channel that was trolling him.
All right. So I got a few questions about. Do you think we'll keep? Well, let's start off with this. Anthony Lynn. Do you have any thoughts that the Giants should take him for any sort of position needed?
No, not really. I don't think Anthony Lynn would be somebody the Giants target, or even if he would fit us. I'm pretty sure Anthony Lynn is an offensive guy as well, and well, that's primarily the reason he was, other than the fact that the Chargers did not go where they wanted to this season and past seasons. But I don't really see them taking him up in anything, even if it's like an advisory role. Patrick Graham is technically an advisory role as the assistant head coach, but I don't see it. What about you? What are you thinking?
Well, I like the idea of having a veteran coach with a newer coach, Joe Judge and Jason Garrett, but Anthony Lynn, I see he doesn't seem that bad of a coach. I wasn't expecting him to get fired, so maybe the Giants could have taken, other than their record, maybe the Giants could take a little advantage of this and maybe take him for Jason Garrett. What do you think?
What do you mean by taking him for Jason Garrett? So we let Garrett go to the Chargers and then we just pick up Lynn?
Well, more than that, because they're not going to do that. But we can try and make out a trade.
Well, Lynn was already let go by the Chargers.
Oh crap! I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was let go on Monday. Actually, was it Sunday night? But yeah, Monday. He was one of the first coaches that was announced that they let go.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
That
Now,
probably changes.
Another thing. Defensively, if we drop Leo, who else on the team could be like a? How do I say this? Oh, we have a very new defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to drop Leo, but saying we do, I don't think we'll be able to get another star like him. What do you think?
That's a great point. Not immediately, and that's why me and Rob and Joel and Nate to an extent, everybody so far has been talking about Kwity Paye and possibly replacing Leo through the draft, because immediately, let's say Leo walks for whatever reason, there's not going to be a replacement immediately. We're going to try and plug it with somebody like a BJ Hill or a rotation of BJ Hill, Jabal Sheard, who had a nice season considering that we signed him as a rotational player, and maybe RJ McIntosh. But you're not going to immediately replace him. I don't even think there's an immediate free agent on in Leo's defensive tackle, interior lineman type of thing that could fill in for him. So to answer your question, I don't think you could kind of replace him immediately. You could replace him down the line in terms of the draft. Maybe you get Kwity Paye and then he develops into Leo, or maybe next year's free agency get somebody that fills him in. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Now, again, obviously, I don't know if Leo wants out, but I don't know if he wants to be on the Giants anymore. Do you think it'll be worth franchise tagging him again or no?
I would be completely down for franchise tagging him. I got no problem with it. What I hope, if we do that, is that Leo doesn't kind of go with, I don't want to say trend, but kind of go with what players who've been franchise tagged multiple times have done, and that's kind of wait out or just sit out the off season. Sometimes they go as far as to sit out games. That's what I hope doesn't happen. My dream contract for Leo is the franchise tag over a couple of years, because he's earning like $16 million on that, and I think that's perfect for him.
No, he is asking. I believe he wants
20.
He wants 20?
Yeah.
All right. Well, signing Logan. What? First off, what were your thoughts about re-signing Logan Ryan or extending Logan Ryan?
it was a surprise to me. I didn't think we'd get it done. To be honest with you, I thought like they were definitely just gonna move forward with McKinney and with Peppers. And even then, I didn't think that would be the first. Like that was the first move we made.
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the season was still going on. That was the first move, a Christmas Day move, basically. Caught me off guard. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm not against it. It's just I'm surprised, and I guess I still am surprised because I'm still wondering how we're gonna move forward with the trio of Ryan, Peppers, and McKinney.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like the thing that really worries me is, are we gonna keep Peppers past this year? Because to re-sign everybody is gonna be a little bit difficult to re-sign everybody. So that means Peppers, because we have him on the 5th year, so after this year he's gonna need a new contract. That means Leo, like you mentioned. That means Dalvin. It's gonna be tough to do.
Well, we're obviously
everybody.
I think we're gonna re-sign Dalvin, but
What happened?
I think we're gonna re-sign Dalvin anyways. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? You think that too?
I don't know, because it kind of goes hand in hand with the Leo situation. I would love to, because Dalvin's also a leader on the defense. He's a defensive captain for a reason. Also, Logan as well.
Mhm.
But Leo and Dalvin, they kind of go hand in hand. I think, it's going to be easier to re-sign him because he already said, like, way back when, that he's willing to take a hometown discount.
Yeah. It is a good option. I was actually thinking that the Giants would have actually taken Tate over Ryan if anything needed, because they're both asking for a high amount of money, right, to get re-signed.
No. The reason I disagree with that is because Logan Ryan has done a lot more for this team than Golden Tate has. Not only in terms of production on the field, he actually, well, then again, I'm not going to put that completely on Tate. The Giants kind of ignored him in the offense this year. From early on, I think a lot of people saw that, whether it was intentional or not. But Ryan just gave a lot more to us on the field, off the field as a leader. He even said he's going to do recruiting and stuff like that. He loves the Giants. Logan Ryan loves the Giants, and I love that about him.
He grew up as an NFC fan, so he's happy to be in the NFC.
Exactly. Like he's an absolute fan of the Giants. So I definitely love that about Logan Ryan. Shout out to Entertainment Talking Sports in the chat, by the way, guys. We all know who this is. Stand up.
I think I really don't want to make many changes. We could be I'm fine adding people to the defensive unit, but again, going on, like Blake Martinez, he had a phenomenal year this year. Our defense, even think our secondary is not terrible. We have to have more experience together, but I feel like maybe in a year or two, if we were to keep almost everyone and then maybe add more, our defense will be pretty set.
So you want to re-sign everybody, right? Is what you're saying?
Well, essentially yes, but that can't happen. But that's what my thoughts are. It being, obviously I wouldn't do that if I was a coach, but I'm saying if all of our players, most of them are pretty good. All we need is now experience together as a defense, and I feel like in a few years, if they were to stay together, which might not happen, but I feel like we have a good potential as defense.
I completely agree with you. I want to keep this defense together no matter what. At the end of the day, the best thing that could happen, and you already said it, we're not sure how possible it is, is keeping everybody together. That's keeping everybody on the defensive line here, everybody in the linebacking core here, everybody in the secondary here. I think that's the best thing. That's the best case scenario. And then, in a fantasy land, we do that and we still have more money to go and sign even more players. But I agree with you. This defense, I love the way this defense is right now.
Yeah.
Does it need improvements? Yes. That's why we're talking about guys like, Parsons. We're talking about guys like Certain and stuff like that in the draft. But I would love to keep this defense together, man. I'm right there with you.
Like, in my opinion, also, one more thing. In my opinion, our defense, I don't know if they carried us this year, but they did better than the offense. I love our new defensive coordinator. I think he's a really good coach. I'm just now hoping that we can keep some defensive players together. Hopefully, keeping Leo on the franchise tag. Hopefully, I don't know who else would we franchise tag if we didn't do Leo.
Well, you could only. Oh, you're talking about if we didn't franchise.
If we didn't do him, rather someone else rather than him.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like we have to use the franchise tag. Nobody, to be honest with you, nobody comes to mind. Like, for example, I wouldn't franchise Dalvin. Like, Dalvin is great. Love to have him back. He's definitely not $16 million a year, though, or franchise might be above that. Who would we franchise? Nobody comes to mind. I'm trying to run through players in my head right now, mostly defensively, because I don't think anybody in the offense is worth franchising.
No.
Nobody comes to mind. Maybe there's one person that's slipping, but I can't think of anybody.
Yeah. That's actually a good thing, though.
And by the way, I see this. Shout out to Bradley. He changed his name to Andrew Thomas, the best tackle in the league. Don't we have to extend Jabril? That's what I've been saying. That's kind of something. Going back to the Logan Ryan signing, that might be a sign of either A, we don't extend Jabril because they're gonna have a good amount of safety money on the books, or some type of finagling is gonna have to happen. Did we, Joe? I'm pretty sure we just have him on the fifth year part of his rookie deal. I don't think we actually extended Jabril Peppers. But I'll check up on that.
I wouldn't want to do that, but let's say we don't do that. That could be. It's kind of like what we did with Leo. We picked up Leo, and now we had him for I think how many years we had him for? 2.
Leo, this was his second year. Yeah, 1.5 technically.
Yeah, and we got him from the Jets. So essentially, we'd just be throwing away those. We got him for draft picks, right? Yeah, and
Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3rd round pick.
And I mean, it would be a waste. Same with Odell. I feel like if we throw away Jabril, that would have been a waste for Odell, because currently right now Daniel Jones, I believe he's a pretty good quarterback. He just needs a star receiver to throw to. We don't have many reliable. I like Darius Slayton.
He needs a playmaker.
What?
He needs a playmaker.
Yeah, I feel like. I feel like if we would have kept Odell, that would have been helpful for his confidence and helping him carry on. So I would, going along, I would want to keep Jabril just because I don't want to make it so that was a loss on our side of the trade, even though it might have been. All right.
But yeah, for sure, man. I completely get where you're coming from. Thank you for calling in, Drew. Any last thoughts, man? We got another young gun out here.
Doug Peterson's a loser.
and shout out to Tudo. Ciao. Tudo, all the way from Italy. How you doing, man? Drew, have a good one, bro.
You too.
See you later. Next up, and the last person tonight to kind of close it out with me, Bobby. What's up, man? Bobby.
Hey, I like that kid Drew. Didn't you like that kid Drew?
Yeah, Drew was great.
He's smart kid, and that wasn't the kid who I know. The kid, he did it on Entertainer's channel too. That redheaded kid. He was also. I know that wasn't him. So yeah, I agree with all that statement. This kid, how old is he? 14, 13? Smart kid. That Drew kid we just had.
Yeah.
I like that Rob guy you had on too. Do you see his hat?
Yeah.
Giants running across. Yes. And do you see who we have? Oh, it's the Entertainer. Do you see who we have to play next year? Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I saw our opponents, man. I'll tell you, I think it's easier opponents than we had this year.
I don't know about that. We have to play the Saints. Well, we could beat Atlanta. I don't have any problem with that. I think we beat Atlanta.
Saints, they're in a terrible cap situation right now.
Yeah,
but players go. Drew Brees is going to be gone because he's going to retire.
Yes. I wasn't thinking about that. It's true. But they still have a good quarterback with that Hill guy.
Depending on who they move on with, yeah.
Yeah, well, I wanted Teddy Bridgewater. Remember that? But that didn't work out. So you should have Entertainer on. Put Entertainer on. So
for sure. The link is in the chat if Tainer wants to come on.
Come on, Tainer, let's talk. I haven't talked to you before. And then the guy, Rob, doesn't he look like Taz from wrestling?
I don't know. I don't see it. Taz, maybe he needs to have the shades on and then he'll look like Taz.
And then I love the Yankee wall, too.
Shout out to Dylan Croat for the $2 super chat. He says just a little donation. Love you, Bobby. Go G-Man.
Oh, Dylan, you're a good kid. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like you too, Dylan. Where is the Entertainer? He should come on.
Maybe he's busy. I mean.
Oh, he's never busy. Come on.
Listen, Tainer just got off doing a long stream as well. He could be.
Well, he does talk a lot. That's true. That's true. He never quiets down. He talks too much. No.
Tainer talks enough. Shout out to Authentic. He's going to be out here.
Oh, Authentic, have a good night. Nice talking to you. I like you, Authentic, and the beard. All right, so you'll go to shut down too?
Yeah, I'm gonna close out.
Was that your daddy who was behind you the other? He walked by you.
Yep, that was Pops.
That was Pops.
Shout,
Pops.
shout
I
out
like
to
Pops.
Cheyenne Q for $10 super chat. Thank you. She says, "Drop a dime in honor of Bobby."
Who's Cheyenne? Who's that?
I don't know. Someone new. A
You
Bobby
met-
dime.
Oh, Bobby thing. Thank you, Cheyenne. You're a nice lady. Oh, you look young though. I better watch out. I'm 52.
So, any last thoughts here, Bobby, before we close it out?
No, you're excellent. Your channel's great. I like when you have Kid Blue on. You guys are awesome together.
Thank
When
you.
is that coming up soon?
Wednesday, every Wednesday.
Okay, are you gonna do this too, or just talk to each other?
No, every Wednesday is just usually talk to each other, but every Tuesday on this channel, it's a
Yeah.
call.
Okay, and then you know what you should do? You should do that trivia contest like Jeopardy, what you had the last time. With,
That was
yeah, but you could come up with it too. You'd be good. And
I
have
don't
me
know.
on.
That'll be a lot of work. I'll look into it, Bobby. I'll look into it.
I could do it. I could do it on my channel.
Oh,
you
for
come
sure.
on in. Yeah,
Oh.
I like trivia.
For sure. I'm gonna
All
close
right.
it out here though, guys.
Thank you
Shout
for
out-
having me on.
No problem. Shout out to
Oh.
everybody in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. For members in here, Bobby, by the way, is a new member. The skit is already available, early access. It went up this afternoon. It will be available to the regular views of the channel tomorrow. Shout out to everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Had a great time. Giants are gonna be great in the future, man. We're off to a great start for the offseason. I'm out.